watching it today, and it was the same thing. But let's take a look at our maps here with our picks and bans. Then we can see where this matchup will be heading before we actually start off with our deep, thorough analysis. As Bank is removed, Border and Cafe all out by BRK, and then Skyscraper, Coastline, and Consulate. Chalet, which is great. I love seeing...
Yeah, surprising to see that one still on there. I mean, they played it this weekend, and it was very close. You'd think they wouldn't want to play it again, but maybe they want to rematch it. Maybe they just want to be like, let's try it again. Now that what we've learned, what both teams are doing in terms of strategies, both on attack and defense, it's like round 2. Let's try and it's like a scrim at that point. Yeah, electric
round
Boogaloo,
2,
exactly.
electric Boogaloo.
So Oregon and Clubhouse, which we just saw, still left on the board as well. So
let's take a look at our pick positioning
Clubhouse?
here. Clubhouse first, Oregon
So
second,
switched around.
and Chalet. So you see, Oregon has been played a lot, and historically, even speaking, for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Latin America has been consistently playing Oregon and have been getting very, very efficient at it.
Yeah.
Though not all the teams are obviously equal or on the same footing when it comes to...
Well, maybe because they weren't around year 1, they're not sick of Clubhouse yet. Because that was what
they
we had.
Used to play a lot of their own regional tournaments.
But
Latin America
that's
started
true. This
very,
is before
very
Pro League. To be clear, they have been playing longer than that. I know that. I just mean Pro League wise.
Yes.
But either way, Clubhouse, as we've seen, is a very interesting map in the current meta, not necessarily the most balanced one that we've seen in terms of. It was already a very one-site map, and now it's a one-site map with a very heavy swing on the attack side because you had Habana, you had Lion coming in, you have even Dokkaebi potentially playing into that, you have Jackal. There's so many other factors that work against the defenders downstairs.
Oh, Habana has been such a strong part of any attack on Clubhouse. If you don't have a Habana on the attack on Clubhouse, especially if you're attacking Church, you're basically boned at that point. From what we've been seeing with most teams, you're bashing your head into a wall.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any extra angles to force the defenders into, you won't really be able to pinch them out. And then you'll be running into defenders that just have better angles than you because there's so many places that you can get these tiny angles on any attackers that are pushing from Memorial, that are pushing from obviously Tunnel, and even from Blue. Both parts are literally a choke point.
There's so many pushes from this. And it used to be such a defender-sided map in that it was like before Habana, it was very much you could turtle down there and they were forced to come to you. Yeah.
Back in the day, back in the Kickstarter days.
Back when
as
we
he
were using
mentioned.
Stone Age tools in this game. It was and that was like a very important bomb site. And now, as Kix mentioned earlier, Bar somehow being one more often because you can finally roam. And this is a meta where you need to be able to roam, and it's very difficult to do so. But when you can and successfully, it really pays off. So, for example, we've seen a lot of Vigil play. Maybe not as much from Latin America as we'd like, but from some of the other regions, especially like NA, definitely willing to play Vigil. And so I'm curious to see if we'll see a decent amount of roam between these two teams or not, since they know each other pretty well. Whether or not they're going to risk that, I feel like it's not going to see something you're going to see every round.
Yeah.
But it is the question of, are they going to risk it at least some of the time? Obviously, they're going to potentially on the bar defenses, but on the basement. And that's the thing, though. When it becomes so attacker heavy, we see so much more of the basement. When it's very defense heavy, we see bar a lot more often, obviously, because they have to switch bomb sites. So in the current meta, we're just seeing that much more of the basement, Arsenal, Church, and it's a little more of a struggle. I mean, like going back to obviously the penultimate Clubhouse match we've seen of the season, which was the SSG versus EG one, where it was just 10 straight attack rounds in a row with one bar round in there that still didn't work.
Yeah, and then the one round that ended, and I harp about it for quite a bit, is just a banded reinforced wall, and that's it. That was basically watching from the kitchen hatch. These tiny details are usually what put things out. This is why I would like this game to go to Chalet, just to see how the roam game will happen. This is why I like watching Bank for the region, because you're like, this is a map that can be king. We've seen even like with NA where we had Caveira picked up.
Yeah,
my God.
Interesting. Vertical though, showing us the way.
Yep. Well, let's take a look at our community vote here. As always, we do value your opinions. We'll see where it swings here. It's fairly equal.
Wow.
Unsurprisingly, actually.
I agree with this though, that it's that close. I mean,
I would give it a bit more to YeaH Gaming.
Yeah, I would flip that probably just off of what I've seen too.
Just 6% difference.
Yeah, but either way, it's how it should be neck and neck here. So I do hope it is represented in the gameplay and not just we get a weird 2-0 where it's just like, well, I guess we were all totally wrong. But
that never happens.
You know, it does come down to maps though, and Chalet being the decider means we don't really know necessarily how it's going to go, because we know that was neck and neck, but that's the decider. That's if we get that far.
Yes.
So.
I'm hopeful that we get that far because I want to see what different strategies. A lot of regions, a lot of teams as well have been trying out different bomb sites. We've been talking about them, not just different maps.
Yeah.
Because with the different maps, with the different bomb sites, they're forced to do that, as well as their setups and operator picks, which is why they've been so top heavy in all of the regions. Yeah. It's because you want to find a way to counter any counter-own play from your attackers, which is mostly now Lion.
Yeah.
And then everything else, sometimes a Jackal, sometimes a Dokkaebi.
A lot of Blitz.
A lot of Blitz as well, especially for Latin America. All of that anti-roam and to some extent Blitz being a tank that just rushes in and tries to kill the smoke. You want to counter it in a different way. And that's why teams have been picking normal sites but also defending them in a different way where they would pick, Workshop, for example, if they're playing Border, but they would spend a bit more attention on the top side, on CCTV and Armory, just to make sure that they slow down their opponents as much as possible before they ever think about dropping.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting because Latin America is, I think, a region that's less heavy on the setups.
Yeah.
A little more on how you play against the attack. I mean, usually we put the attack on that side and it's saying that they're responding to how the defense is set up. I feel like Latin America as a region tends to be a little more fluid in responding to what they see coming. Like, are they attacking this side? Are they attacking that side? How should we play this? We need to have people that are flexible. We need to open stuff up occasionally and not maybe reinforce as much. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot different out of Clubhouse necessarily. I mean, maybe like I said, less setup and a little more flexible play, especially down in Arsenal and Church. But at the same time, Oregon is one that has still some potential. We had seen, for example, what is now Team Liquid had played Tower once in the past because I remember Ziggs
infamous dive outside the window
clutch
into a Mira ADS as he sprays through two people through the door. That was amazing.
And this season alone has shown so many shakeups, and we have even seen Kitchen once. So there is the possibility we could see a Kitchen or Tower on Oregon, which obviously we're going to Oregon again. So if there's going to be any change-ups, I would imagine it's going to be that. However, Chalet, I mean, Game Room isn't really a different thing anymore. It's something that's still it's a much lesser pick, but it's still a thing. So there's not any sites on that map that I would say, oh, they're going to pick this other than Master Bedroom, which I don't think anyone's really tried since like Continuum back in what was that season 1, like towards the season 1 year, like season 3 year 1 or something. Let's
just get this out of the way.
Yeah.
I think anybody plays Chalet, if anybody plays Chalet and picks Bedroom in this current meta, and wins it, I will all buy you drinks because I cannot believe that anybody in Pro League can ever hold.
Look, I don't think we would ever have expected to see.
Prove me wrong.
Vertical proved us wrong at least on one aspect this season already. I don't hold anything out like in terms of like what could happen this season because it's not even close to over yet. We're on like the kind of the halfway point of the season
We're
right
just
now.
Getting to the playoffs maybe sometime.
It's still definitely on the board as far as possibilities go. People could try it. Like I said, Caveira was played, not just like, at the beginning of the season, Chalet did it, and we saw a little bit after that, but Vert just played the heck out of it, and like getting a 3K plus at least 1 to 2Ks multiple rounds after that is just, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from these guys, but I do know that these are two teams that are evenly matched, and that's the best thing we can hope for in terms of this at least going to a 2-1, so we can see what they have in store. The only problem I have with Chalet with this region, though, is we see far too many times people jumping in trophy windows. It's just a pain train of death as they jump in, just body stacking on top of each other. Hopefully we don't see that. That's
hello, I am Blitz. Pleased to meet you. And that's it.
Not the best. But
and then gets into a Legion trap. Like, oh, well, I guess I'm doomed here.
I'm glad to see Legion getting so much play, though. I mean, I know we've joked about that just being like players that like Legion as well, but obviously with Blitz being such a thing here, it's that much more important. I'm surprised we haven't seen Frost more, just because like you see how aggressive the Blitz is.
The one time it was picked, curse you, Fabian.
So close,
as always.
Yeah, well,
it was a 3K, won the round, right? Viable
because of the gun, though. Let's be honest, it was because of the gun.
Yeah, but just don't use the granny headgear if you're gonna pick Frost. Please, for the love of God, just do not.
We just need that on more ops. So maybe Blackbeard or something. But either way, hopefully we'll see at least a creative lineup from BRK and a lot more adaptation, because one of the things we've struggled with on Clubhouse was not seeing enough change-ups in terms of how they were playing, especially on the attacker side when they're just winning. So
what has been interesting as well with Latin America especially is that they've been playing a lot more of the double hard destruction. Thermite plus Hibana, of course.
Especially on Clubhouse. That's one where it really...
Especially on Clubhouse. That's where a lot of regions will do, but we've even seen with NA where they'll only play the Hibana.
Yeah.
They don't really need a Thatcher. They can, or a Thermite, excuse me. They can bring a Thatcher there and help them out with a push. They can bring a Blackbeard to watch any other
Well, what
positions
surprised
in
me is
class.
to see more Thatcher along with that. From Astro, for example, it's like Astro playing Thatcher. That's an odd choice.
Yes.
As we've harped on him before about, like, why are you not just on Twitch? Because you could take out batteries with those Twitch drones just the same, or whatever gadgets you want.
Twitch in general.
And the gun.
We talked about it quite a bit. Like, Twitch is just not
But
in
Astro,
right now.
when he
But
switched,
Astro,
last time we were talking about that, he switched to Twitch, and what happened? Just like when he put his headphones on, correct? Started killing again. And it's one of those things, I don't like to pigeonhole players into their operator roles. But when you see, for example, I don't know, Redeemer on Clubhouse playing Legion and losing and switching over to Echo and doing better, it's like, play what you know if it's still working. Because you get so used to playing these operators, like something like Echo is a good example too, because just same with the Twitch drones as well. When it comes to those kind of drones that are these extra special drones that aren't the sacrificial regular ones, and I say sacrificial knowing you shouldn't be sacrificing them, but they are sacrificed, let's be honest. You don't use all 10.
Is much more special.
Yeah, and so that one plus the yokai drone, it's a situation where knowing how to pilot that drone properly in a way that avoids getting destroyed, in a way that you get maximum utility from, is a specialization. It is something you get very good at in terms of how you play it, and we see that in Redeemer. We see that with some of the premier Twitch players as well, like Astro. I mean, obviously Astro gets a lot of work out of his gun too, let's be honest. He knows how to hit that F2.
F2 is pretty good.
Yeah, so either way, though, I do think, like, for example, we have Cyber coming in here. I expect him on Glass. If he's not on Glass, I'm a little disappointed just because he's such a good Glass player. Same with GCR.
One thing with Latin America is that they haven't been seeing as much Zofia play as other regions. Because
they're still leaning more on Ashe.
Yes. They prefer the speed, the execution, because they're different. They play in a different way.
Yeah.
It's the best thing about Rainbow Six, the best thing about esports, because every single region, every single part of the world will have a different way of seeing things. And that's
why finals are so exciting.
We have a melting pot of everything at Pro League finals. But to get back to the point, Latin America plays very drone heavy into aggressive plays out of it. And when you see the way that they play this, you're like, yeah, makes sense that they prefer a 3-speed over a 2-speed, even though the hard destruction utility that Zofia brings to the table, as well as the 4 concussion mines. I mean, 4, that's a lot.
Well, it's like you said, they'd rather bring the double hard breachers than more soft breachers. It just seems like, I mean, you still get the soft breach utility out of Ashe, but you don't get the concussion grenades, but they just rather come around the corner shooting. Like, that's the other way you do it. They'll have the kind of Ashe that'll drone for themselves, just around the corner, see what's there, come fast peek and pre-fire it. They're just that kind of region that works for them. That's not an uncommon thing, but it's something that works better for them than trying to just stun it. Like, they'd rather just come around the corner flying.
It's not an incorrect thing.
No.
Let's keep that in mind. If you play this solo with no information and you do that in your own games, that's one thing. When you're playing with a professional team where communication is key and you're droning all the time and you're using your E1Ds to help out this kind of aggressive play, that's when it will work, and it will work consistently, which is why we talk about it so much, because it has consistently worked for the region for a year now.
Yeah.
And there's no way to change it. It's ingrained in the way that the region plays, and it works fine.
I feel like they'd actually be better off dropping line a lot of the times, because we were talking about earlier, it's kind of a crutch for a lot of teams, and we saw, for example, Rogue run without it quite a bit. I mean, they
a few rounds actually
relented, but they still went off and on with it. It wasn't that they just decided to switch the line and played it the whole time. They still were looking for value in other operators that they know already work, instead of just trying to adapt it for no reason. But what's surprising to me is this region taking a lot more line and dropping a lot of the glass, and I think that's been a mistake for Latin America, and I think we've seen a lot less frags, a lot less strong play from a lot of teams, partially because of that, because they're depending on Blitz and Lion more. Blitz didn't actually get that much of a buff. Blitz did get some ADS speed, that's a little bit stronger. He's a little bit faster, that he can sprint, with his shield forward and things like that. His melees are a little stronger in that sense, but he is not that much faster than a 3 armor still.
A 3 speed.
No, I mean a 3 armor. He's not that much faster than, no, I said a 1 speed. Yeah, he's not that much faster than, he's like a 1.5 speed. He's not even full 2 speed. So he didn't get that much of a buff, and his hitbox is still a little, it's not necessarily the hitbox, but it's also the timing of the rotations and his hands exposed.
And you're playing online, and it's not always, 100%.
Yeah, so it's not a guaranteed thing. We saw a lot of Blitz dying before, and I imagine we still might see some Blitz rushes in Tunnel here on Clubhouse. We'll see. It's up in the air, but I would like to see people lean a little bit more on even the YeaH Glasmat, as much as people don't like it, I think was a little more solid of an attack strategy than Lion Blitz has been.
Who would have thought that we would be yearning for the days where YeaH Glas was a thing?
Shock and awe. This is different shock and awe. This is scan and awe.
Scan and awe. Well, let's see. Let's see what
there's the Glas, though. At least from YeaH, though. Again, I still think GCR has been a far better Glas than YeaH has been. But you know what? Teams practice. They might decide to switch up for whatever reason on that, or maybe they just decided they really need GCR on the Hibana. Either way, though.
YeaH on Blitz works as well.
Yeah, definitely something we've seen. There will be some switch-ups, I imagine, but we are seeing some good intel operators come out here from BRK as well, because the combination of the Valkyrie and the Legion will make sure that they have plenty of info to work on, so it won't be, as we were just talking about, as much shock and awe. So, for example, with the Valkyrie cameras, they're more likely to know that Glas is coming and be a little more prepared for that, not fall for as easy of a Glas picks, things like that. And, of course, the mirror, but that never changes, right?
No, all of this setup right now is just super standard. There's nothing odd about it. The crouch mirror window.
Used. Like, this is more variable, but yeah, it's still pretty standard
crouch
meta.
mirror window. This is like the standard of what you would see set up. You know, you open a rotation hole. It works. Yeah, obviously, it works very well. The biggest difference that you might see sometimes is the way that they're setting up with the reinforcements.
Whether they have
on
the
church
wall
wall
or not.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that usually changes. Otherwise, I mean, they've been pretty okay with just shooting the top side, because this is a 4-meter wall, so you can still shoot a top side above, and then you can check a C4 through that. You don't really have to rely on a soft wall next to it.
At least they're doing a good job droning and clearing first before they enter. You had the Glas droning for Lion of spawns before he came in, so they did a good job making sure to clear from top down, which I think is a good way to do it, because then you can also clear from the bar at the same time. And then if someone tries to sneak up, it's a much easier pinch. So they are getting that clear done, at least fairly quickly here, but they're going to need to start opening hatches. Oddly enough, again, having Thermite do it, they definitely want the extra utility of Hibana, something we've seen more so from Brazil. Like, Latin America is the one that, I mean, Kix was joking earlier about what? Thermite on hatches? Like, this is the region that still does it sometimes, because they want the extra Hibanas, and they don't need 2 Thermite breaches. So I think that's really smart, because in a situation like that bar hatch right there, you're safe. Like, unless they do something really, really ballsy, they're not going to get you. You're safe to use that. You don't need to use Hibana on a hatch like that.
They'll keep it
for the walls is great.
Yeah, and they're also saving it for the mirror windows, because obviously they have revolts on the Thatcher here, so you can chuck the EMPs down there.
So this is a smarter attack strategy than I think sometimes we see, and GCR doing exactly what you just said, trying to get that mirror window down, and that's going to disable and make it a lot easier for them to push main stairs, as well as if they decide to push the Memorial, they can drop right down and have a nice pinch on both sides. Getting some good intel, but unfortunately losing the drone there. Now Glas is going to be ready to do some work down here. Those Legion mines hopefully going to at least stall Glas out a little bit, because otherwise he's just going to be barreling his way down.
Oh, that is a very sweet opening as well.
Nice.
They can use their advantage, but again, just like with everything in Siege, they can use both ways. But no, GCR comes in, lands the headshot. See the drop from 1. Won't be enough here. Quick rush from Novi's. He gets 1, but YeaH will refrag. The fuser's down on the floor, but will get picked up right next to the open holes. Smokes are going to get thrown in at the 46-second mark. Cyber losing the second one as well. These are definitely a bit premature, but C4 will miss. Unfortunately, for PX, they just run in and put that diffuser down right at the edge on Church. You know, Cyber trying to move around and maneuver to the side here. He's going to have to deal with 1 player on the side, and that'll be GCR, who gets 1. Switches to the Bearing 9. Unfortunately, can't get the kill, but Revolts turns it into a 3v1. Diogo, last man alive, and he has to deal with so many around him. Spawns, lands the headshot, cleans him up. And that's the first round going to the attackers of YeaH Gaming.
Well, basically, the best part of that defense for them was just all the hallway fights between Novi's and Diogo. They did manage to get some kills in the hallway. Outside of that, they couldn't seem to find a whole lot of anything. I mean, I like the idea of the smoke playing the back of Arsenal to be able to throw through that little hole there. That was a good way to defend it, because you're pretty secure on the wall right there, and they're not going to push that far up the hallway to be able to counter you, because it's a hard angle because of the corner right there, the one that goes to Memorial. I would have liked to see them come up with or maybe they will in the future, come up with a better way to counter that Hibana on the wall, because obviously if they bring a Thatcher, you're not going to do it with batteries or mute jammers. You can go with, it's a little bit of a risky strategy if you stay with someone in Memorial, which they're not pushing, an impact nade, the X-Kairos.
You'll need a castle for that kind of play.
You could even have someone like the Legion knowing kind of where they're at from the Legion mines and then going for that impact nade. It's risky because they could try and pick you at the same time. So it's more of kind of a one-off use. You're not going to get away with that every time. But it's something they could do at that point, or trying to find an angle firing on it, which is riskier than an impact nade. But the point is, like, if they don't get that out, you saw exactly what happened. They lose so many angles, and with the Glaz able to pressure that, you have to take advantage of the places they didn't attack you from. They didn't pressure you from blue. They didn't pressure you from Memorial. They didn't pressure you from dirt. And they didn't even pressure Arsenal from the bar drop. So I'm sorry, the kitchen drop. So they didn't really put a lot of pressure anywhere except for the main stairs right there. You have to take advantage of that as a defender if you can't stop them from opening that wall.
And for me, I look at this and I'm like, this would only work in Latin America. This would only work between two Latin Americans.
This season, I can't rule anything out. It could be anything here. Cyber actually going to be bringing our first buck here. That should be interesting to see if they are going to open up a lot of that kitchen floor, if they're going to go for a different strategy with it. We have seen a lot of teams like not opening so much of the kitchen floor anymore. That seems to have fallen out of favor because of the safety of opening up too much of the floor against you, and instead they will just open up maybe the one little spot kind of right where Navis is looking at, that little floor spot right there. That's a good angle you can get to kind of clear out a little bit, but you don't want to overdo it because you open up too much, and then someone like Habana, for example, that we've seen a lot of times fighting down the kitchen hatch, is not able to do so as safely because of a lot of holes in the floor. They are going to open up the dirt tunnel, it looks like, so they're going to probably go with a little more of a pinch-style attack than what we saw last round. So they're actually going to at least drone that first, make sure that they have some idea what they're walking into. I'm not sure if he's going to stay and play it or if he's just going to open it up. Probably going to play it, though. As you said, they bring both hard destructors, and they have a blitz, so even if he's not going to play it, one's definitely going to, but we see a lot of teams where Thermite will back up the blitz. The question is, who's going to be bringing the diffuser in from which side? We don't see anyone carrying it right now, so once we see who's carrying it, which way they're going, we'll have a better idea where they're actually trying to get the plant down from. Because Cyber, again, as I was saying, not trying to open up too many holes here, just playing the smart angles only, so I'm glad to see that evolving over time. Navis, though, the one with the diffuser, so he's going to be going for that. What was that?
That was a leaf trap.
Okay, I thought he was trying to encourage the drone there for a second. Move along.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
Good spot, though. It's not the easiest to spot those, but I think PX doing a great job calling those out, making Legion a lot less effective for Yuna. So good job, PX. I like this three-man kind of effort here to push down the dirt tunnel and bait out those smokes. Cyber could be a part of pinching smoke if he gets pushed out of that tunnel, but he's got to hold the angle for it fairly soon here. Oh, one a little too close, breathing some of that gas in.
Now that's the beauty of this push, because now you have control kitchen hatch, so you have a point of view of the rotations.
Just gives up on it.
One comes in, spots.
So there we go.
Gets some damage. Novi's from behind will get the kill. He is goo mine for just a second, but that's not the end of the world. They get that first kill on Yuna, but it's 30 seconds left, and all of his goo mines have already been used. Now trying to pop in the smoke. There you go. It's going to be set in. They don't have a glass to combo with.
No, it's just plant time, but they're missing it.
Lion's going to get popped here. Cyber just drops down, tries to spray onto the smoke. Spray here comes in from Revolts with the SMG-11. Drops one. Puts the second right to the side. That shotgun is going to be very difficult. Oh my god, how does he do it?
Diogo,
one will go down. Now it's all up to Diogo. He'll pop the E1D and can still get an angle on anybody sitting on the diffuser, but now they need to try and rush him as he's just going to be playing to the side. He can hear when they start tapping, and I'm not sure if they already have a drone set up here, but even the Mira will get aggressive. He spots the second.
Wow.
2 kills for Diogo as they go in for the diffuser. And he has to spray. No, the defense will take it. Oh my god, if only he just rushed in, but they had even another angle on him.
Yeah.
He gets the 2K. They got the plant, sure, but it's not enough. You see the shotgun was ready for him there just to end his life if need be. Diogo, unfortunately, can't bring the round back, and YeaH Gaming picks up the second.
It's just not full utilization on that smoke. You don't have to bring the glass. You can even bring a Ying at that point so that you're not just smoke, you're actually blinding them on top of that. And Blitz is not going to be doing a great job of it. I mean, it was good he was there to follow up and to be able to try and get the plant and cover his back, and he did get the plant down. So Blitz did a fantastic job making up for it. But the rush and plant attempt, there wasn't enough good coverage from the different angles. They weren't playing it smart. You could have just pinched from blue at that point and been a lot more successful in making sure that they couldn't go or even start pushing church somewhere. Again, we're just seeing too many one-directional pushes. I appreciate that they were using dirt and kitchen, but they weren't pushing anywhere else yet again. If one of these teams can just adapt the push, maybe it'll work a little bit better. But nonetheless, YeaH Gaming has won 2, so they've won both attack and defense, but that means they're going to have to go to bar next time. So we'll see if they can hold that off as well. But they are proving they could do both sides, and that's not a good start at all for BRK, because that just shows that YeaH have a strong advantage on this map in that they could do both, and BRK so far could do neither.
So far, so good for YeaH Gaming. As we'll see, BRK trying to adapt to this as they pretty much bring the same setup as before, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they switched FK1 onto Buck this time, though, so they're going to try for the Buck strat as well. But that's because they're going no Thatcher.
Yeah. They'll have to rely on the Buck here to take down those bandit batteries.
I feel like the Thatcher strategy worked fairly well. It doesn't seem like the right thing to change up unless you're expecting them to somehow counter you better. But as we were discussing, it's very hard to counter those. That if you, I mean, you Thatcher, what are they going to do? They can try and bandit trick it, but
throw the EMP and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, they can bandit trick it. You still can bandit trick up on an X-Kairos, so it's not undoable. And it's not like there's an opening where you can really hit them from while they're trying to do it. So it's still doable. And maybe they're worried that that's going to be the case, and they're just going to bandit trick it. But like you said, it's like it's not easy to get those batteries off.
What I like is that UNS back on the blitz, his signature blitz.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to get him. He's the one carrying the diffuser, so that's not usually a good choice. You usually want the blitz to be more of a distraction or help on the push rather than try and plant.
Though that was a very early E1D, because most teams will now use it at around the halfway mark.
Well, especially on a map like this where you can clear the top 2 floors really easily. And it's like, you don't need to know where they are on site. You know where they are on site because there's 3 rooms they play in. Like, they're in one of those 3 rooms, all of them.
Very good point, Devin. That's why you're the expert.
Strat maker here for sure. But they are shooting them off.
There you go.
Oh no, they just left. Did they just leave one on purpose? But that was.
I think that was I saw the electricity there at the end. I believe the bandit was from the bandit trick.
Yeah, it may have just been one that was kind of off to the side, a little weird. Surprised they didn't get all of them, but it was hard to see from that angle exactly which walls they were, because those 2 walls tend to overlap weird. They don't have a same break like the other 2 walls do. So they are still opening up a lot of the floor. Again, I said this is a little bit risky, and we saw Diogo didn't even get the full mileage out of it last time. He got more kills upstairs than he did through the holes.
You're just wasting time. That's why they're bringing the thermite, because if they want to push through dirt, they have that ability to do so, and that's exactly what they'll have. They'll have Yuna just trying to push in from there, forcing the smoke out of position, putting him in the line of fire of FK1 and GCR.
Yes. Spawn's trying to hold an angle down here into that church, hoping to catch someone who's on rotation, and he does. That's a nice pick there onto the bandit. So no more bandit tricking happening, but that is probably too late.
Oh, that's a headshot. Here we go.
Oh, the floors work back, though.
Still have to deal with this here. Cyber got the kill, and Diogo will refrag as Rival's trying to put a fragmite in play. They lose Yuna, so they don't have that shield in front, and Diogo will land the second, and he'll put one more out of his misery as GCR is set up and just watching the central hall. 12 seconds on the clock, and of course, with the Lion out of play, we'll have a hard time getting in here as now they drop one, pull out the bearing 9, 5 seconds on the clock. And they don't even have the diffuser in hand. It's all the way up top in kitchen, and GCR can't even get through this, unfortunately.
There he goes.
He will go down as BRK picking up the defense.
I mean, if they were thinking, hey, let's not bring the Thatcher because they're going to bandit trick, that was the right read. Unfortunately, that left them with nothing. You saw how far they stalled out on that. They did get some good picks from the kitchen hatch, so that part of the strategy seemed to work out a little bit better. But the defense was just on top of it because, well, they'd been exploited on the church wall last time, and they weren't going to let that happen a second time. And it was like, okay, well, yeah, Gaming, you adjust to that, try and get more picks from above, and they did. But then those buck holes worked against them as well, and they were able to trade those back because they're able to play in the back of Arsenal since you're not putting any pressure on that side. I'd almost like to see them use the Habon at this point on the other wall, the Arsenal wall, that first panel to your left when you come down the bottom of the stairs, and open that up as well. Don't let anyone play there. If they're going to sit there and deny and reinforce all 3 windows, yes, they're going to be able to see you trying to put pressure on that, but they can't do anything about it because they've reinforced all 3. They don't have a soft wall on it. So then you can use that to punish a little bit and try and clear out more of Arsenal, so the people that are working the hatch can try and work their way down. You could even go for the old YeaH smoke drop with the Candelas and do a little bit more work that way because you're able to clear out the back of Arsenal. And we saw from the SSG versus EG match, that was the big struggle, was getting someone like Canadian out of the back of Arsenal was usually what messed up that drop because they were dropping right into his frags most of the time, even in the smoke. So it's a situation where they do have those extra Habanas a lot of time to be able to do something about it, and if they were going to bandit trick it anyways, you're not going to get that wall open. So you have something extra. I mean, I guess you could bait out a battery, but it's not really going to get you anything when you can pick it back up. So either way, though, first bar defense. So we're going to see what they're going to do different here. One going to be on that glass. Instead of Cyber, again, still not a fan of when they trade those up, because when you have people that are so good at glass and it's such a specialized role to be really good at it, doesn't seem like the right play to switch it up. And we have seen this before where I've talked about that, where we saw round after round after round of one playing glass and it failing, and they switched to Cyber for one round, it worked, and they switched back. And then I was like, what are you guys doing? So either way, BRK, though, on the back foot, need to make these smart calls, although Cyber may be a good buck, so we'll give him some credit for that in case that's why the role changed. We will see a little bit different defender lineup as well. Revolt's going to be on Pulse, which is going to give them a lot more intel where the actual push is coming from, so they can make those early adjustments that they will need to make because of the size of this particular bomb site spread apart. And then also we're going to see a dock, something we've talked about a lot with the ACOG long angles. You get a dock, you get a rook, someone that can fight those to be able to adjust as well.
It's a different way because a lot of teams will say, oh, we don't have to expose ourselves to a potential pick off by any glass, really. Yeah. But here, they can actually challenge it by having the ACOG that they can play off the bar.
Now, I like, though, the combination of when you bring a Pulse and a Legion, and Legion saves some of his mines, you have the situation where you have quite a few that you can adjust to the side that they're pushing from.
I like that GCR is playing all the way up top in the bathroom, though. FK1 sat here in the middle of the bar, and as you see, the Thermite will be standing up to open things up.
Early smoke coming out. That's not going to be effective. They're not going to be standing right on the other side of the wall. It is going to at least deter them from pushing right away, but that's just giving Glaz a freebie at that point, potentially, if he pushes it. So they've got to be careful about that. At least they're clearing the top floor, and now Buck's going to have a huge advantage because FK1 is not safe there at all.
Revolt GCR, nice. He'll get the kill here. So that's the roaming Jaeger that we saw up top, and he'll take down the Buck. Unfortunately, Novice will come in and grab the kill, though. What they were looking for is the hatch to be open, and Novice, though, will get the second. That's a Legion, and his teammate down. So both him and the Jaeger out of play. Revolts has to fall all the way down to Memorial and try to play the stairs to his advantage. You see the strip push has begun, and Revolt's trying to move on up. This will get one, will get two. That's already 4 kills up, and he's looking for a final one. Revolt's has a C4 in hand, and he is the last man alive. They don't have a beat on him, but neither does he. He'll come in, he'll get the kill on Novi's, and that is the ace denied. Still has a C4 to play with, and he's looking for information from his teammates, but he has to use it to rotate around into the gym.
How is it not planted yet?
It's still closed. Oh boy.
There we go.
He's looking for the spray, gets the kill on Diogo. PX, though, is planting on the other side in the stock, and that's exactly what they were not expecting here. Revolt's outplayed here as he's shooting into the bodies. One is looking to the side as PX is on the outside with the Thermite just looking through, and Revolt's... there's got to be a miracle win here.
Unfortunately for Revolts, he does not know what's going on at this point. He is confused as he thought it was a bar plan. He's expecting them to be on the other side of the strip wall. He's trying to fight it, but it's not there. Now he finally realizes it. Too little too late, though. The diffuser almost all the way there. He's got to kill 2 before he can even defuse it. Not going to happen.
At this point, there's pretty much no time on the clock. He realizes what's going on. On that time, 1 is able to get the double tap and cleans him up with the OTS. Well done on the glass. BRK turning almost a loss there into Novice just going insane and grabbing 4 kills with the Ying. I mean, imagine if Ying had even a better LMG, right? You know, more damage. Who? Please no.
See, PX is doing exactly what they should be doing instead of Doc. Echo on bar.
Actually,
because you get the ACOG still, and you get the Echo drone to deny, because that is something they were missing in terms of depending on Smoke, who is very limited on the number of times he can stall them out. So, either way, though, a Vigil...
He is very effective on helping out with really any of the 2 sites that get pushed. If you have a push from strip, easy. I have my yokai. If they want to push into stock, that's fine. I have my yokai, and I still have an MP5 with an ACOG.
And you can rotate it across the bar fairly easily. I mean, it's harder to get it into the stock side because you've got to go around through the lounge for the most part, unless you can somehow get it up through the stage, but most of the time the stage isn't destroyed low enough for that. So you do kind of, I mean, you can't jump it like a regular drone, so you're stuck more like a Twitch drone. However, you know, like you said, there's plenty of flexibility on it, but we're seeing very different lineups here. We're seeing a Castle this time, as well as the Vigil. We're seeing a Dokkaebi on the attack side. We're seeing a Sledge. So this is going to be a very different round than what we've seen before. But what I think is better about this defense is Novi's being on the Vigil to potentially stall out taking top floor. So they gave up top floor way too easily to Cyber Buck last time, but they do get some points for getting that kill on Cyber early, because Cyber was going to be the biggest threat to them in making sure that that plant was easy, doing exactly what we saw Revolt's doing at the end from Pulse, is in playing above and shooting down when they were trying to defuse the plant, or in this case, plant the plant. Although I think they did a fantastic job tricking him into thinking the guy on pool was the guy making the plant, and he thought, cool, I stopped the plant, like, this is easy, because they hadn't planted yet.
Because he just stood in place, and they knew what was going on.
Absolutely smart.
He sacrificed himself for the greater good.
And totally worth it, because it paid off. However, it did take them way too long to plant, though. Either way, they should have had the plant down much earlier than that, but knowing it was a Pulse, I think they played it still pretty smartly, and it worked out. It was just cut very close. Either way, though, they're doing a good job clearing the top floors here before they take this, and it looks like they're very protective of stock, because they do know that the attack is most likely to come from there right now. So one is going to go on the roam here with Novi's kind of back him up. He could impact nade for him, although they both have impact nades. One left on Vigil, two left on Castle. And Echo here playing it maybe a little unsafe. He could be playing behind the bar a little safer, because if he peeks early, he's going to get no value out of his Yokai drone, although he may have already lost it. It's possible.
It'll be interesting how they set things up, having the Sledge and having the Dokkaebi. But you see how Novi's speaking out here?
Yeah, they really want to go for this
rotate. For an impact.
Oh, this is risky. They might have heard that, and they are right in there.
Oh, he gets taken out. Revolts gets the kill. He spots the second as well. Has the advantage as well. If he moves on to the SMG-12, doesn't even need it. One will get taken down. Straight headshot with the Mark 14. That's what.
Cameras.
That's why they bring a Mark 14 with an angle grip, because you can immediately go for a return shot, and Spawns will get one more. Fortunately, Bearing 9 not enough, and Spawns is ready for it here. Cyber last man alive, and BRK falling apart at the seams, even barricading the entryway.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. He's not going to at least get spotted, but he's got a missed call.
All that's missing is like being jackled at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, what am I even doing?
Unfortunate.
Oh,
gonna fight it though.
Ends the headshot. That's one. Spots the second. Unfortunately, he downs him. All right, that's a Revolt's being so low on HP.
Good start. Good start. Finish that off the smoke.
Oh,
Unfortunate.
no.
Blank.
FK1 is ready and gets the kills. He runs on down. There you go.
Good teamwork at the end there. They were definitely trying to flank him. He did manage to get two. That one flank that he got with the shotgun was a little bit late, but it was still, like, that was a lucky flick with that shotgun. I mean, not lucky. I mean, obviously skill, but in terms of, like, that was good timing on his part. But that was clearly YeaH Gaming's round for sure on that attack. Neither team really able to defend successfully. So it's just not working out. But, I mean, YeaH Gaming did it more out of, you know, being forced to. And so I don't think they're going to go back there again unless they absolutely have to. But they're going to be setting up pretty much the same setup for the most part downstairs. The attack, again, going to be going with the blitz strat. Cyber going to be on that buck again. I imagine going to go with a similar strategy that worked somewhat well in terms of pushing down the dirt tunnel for the plant. They did get the plant down. But I would really like to see Diogo doing a more effective role with that line. He was trying to play it from up top and trying to stay safe in doing it, which wasn't a bad idea. But when his team was falling apart at that point and the plant was risking being defused, he might have needed to play a little more aggressively to help his team stay alive down there. But either way, those are judgment calls you have to make when you're in the moment. So hard to say for sure, but they are going to have to consider that this time, that just getting the plant down is not enough, because defending that plant can actually be very difficult, because you're stuck in the middle of Arsenal, where you could be surrounded from many different sides and angles, from the hallway, from church, from blue, from just further along the Arsenal. They are trying to get a little more camera set up here, get more intel, some idea when that's going to come. PX is going to be on that drone again, something he was doing for them last time. Not pushing to open the dirt tunnel very aggressively this time, though. They want to get in position and drone it a little more before doing so. Maybe not tip their hand too much before they see what the actual defensive setup is.
Well, Cyber just going in for the drone here. Nothing out of the ordinary. Fairly passive as a start. Unfortunately for BRK, they don't bring a Thatcher. They don't really need it, because YeaH Gaming are not bringing. You know, they're not bringing
no bandit or mute.
Yeah, no mute, no bandit. It's got to be super easy for them to come in here and just clean things up.
I still like having the Thermite do that bar hatch. Come in with Hibana, and you can rotate out potentially through kitchen after that's cleared. It's I think that was a better idea, just because you don't really need to unless you're going to try and get church wall with it.
No drones even coming around to the side, but as you say that, PX and One might just be setting up here to push through into dirt, which is what I believe they have in mind. There you go.
Oh, I like this. Revolt's trying to take advantage of it. Unfortunately, his timing getting on the camera, unfortunate, as he's going to be pushed back already. At least one kill, though, from Legion onto Hibana is a great kill. I think Hibana mostly used all the charges already, though.
Unless he still had one more charge to use, unless they already used it on kitchen.
Yeah, it was hard to see. We didn't actually see in the kitchen. And Cyber's there right now, so hopefully we get a chance to find out soon. Nope, unfortunate.
Gets shot from the side.
That is a vital hatch. That's really the most important hatch out of all three.
Because that's the one as well that you'll use to support a push from dirt.
Which is exactly what they're doing. So that leaves Diogo in a much tougher position. Legion Mine's doing some good job. Now, last time they got Eunice off the board on the Legion much earlier, and that was a big boon to that. And now Grenade's coming out, actually pushing their teammate back.
They might need to rethink this whole push.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it right now, just because, as you see, even the Hibana getting picked off is just already, this push is super crippled. At least they're baiting the smokes out, but he's already taking quite a bit of damage, and the Legion Mines on top of that, because Yuna's still alive, are going to be popping those Legion Mines. You know Blitz is in there. If Yuna's playing it smart, he's just going to say, like, I could throw all 8 here. We could play this all day, Bandit.
There we go. That's exactly what they're going to They're going to pull back and try another way of coming in. Unfortunately,
they can still blow the hatch.
Yeah, he still has one more Texan Dynamite. Unfortunately for him, one will fall to the plays of GCR, and that's now the Blitz. And the Hibana auto play. They were relying as well on the Blitz to at least recover the round here.
They left that wall soft as well, it looks like, unless that was somehow blown by Thermite. Nope, he still got his Dynamite. So they did actually leave one wall soft that got opened. So that is going to be interesting here for Spawns. He's going to have to fight this Scout Key. Unfortunately, timing not on his side.
And 2 kills now going to the side of YeaH Gaming. Only one alive here. That's Cyber. Can't do much except for get 1 kill at the end to pad those stats. But it won't be enough, as round number 6 will go the way of YeaH Gaming, and they are 1 round away from bringing on a first map home. It's working out fairly well for them.
Now, this is a map that we know is currently, in theory, very attacker-sided. So the fact that we're seeing such a... Yeah, this was YeaH's map, I think, as well, too. So this was just... Obviously, they had the better strats on it.
Yeah, this was BRK's pick. It's got the confirmation.
Well, we'll see where they go in terms of how they're going to play this defense this time. BRK are bringing the Bandit again. So they're going to be doing exactly what they did before with the Thatcher this time. So we'll see if they're able to actually make that Thatcher work with the Bandit tricking. I mean, they saw last time not bringing the Thatcher was a mistake. So hopefully they'll rectify that, manage to get that wall open, or at least do some more damage there.
We'll see how this play happens up again. You know, Yuna on the glass now. We've been seeing a lot of role changes for YeaH Gaming. They have not shied away from that. Let's see BRK set up for this one. As of course, I'll remind you that this was the pick for BRK. So we'll see how they recover from this. Definitely YeaH in the advantage so far. Well set up. So far, yeah, so far pretty standard. Just gives a lot of line of sight to any of the defenders. All 3 walls are reinforced. We'll see a crouch level mirror window being set up as well, looking through blue. All stock, all standard. BRK not really changing anything here. They keep the Bandit. Of course, YeaH realizing they'll have to deal with that. They bring in a Thatcher to play around with.
Yeah, and I think that, like I said, that worked much better. So we'll see if they're able to get that open this time. They do have, of course, the Thermite as well. So they have plenty of backup and trying to get stuff set up there. Interesting to see that the Legion, it looked like, had a deployable shield rather than impact nades. Which, unless you've got a really good purpose for that deployable shield, I don't necessarily think it's the best strategy. But look at that. Oh, they're opening up a lot of interesting angles this time to be able to play. They saw the top of that wall, even on Armory open, to be able to throw things over it, like smoke canisters or a C4 potentially. Yeah, opening up the bar hatch with the Thermite again, of course, like we were talking about earlier, to be able to get that extra utility out of the X-Kairos. on that church wall. And I think that's the much safer way to play it if you don't need to actually walk through that, which is always risky.
This is why they were bringing that shield, just so they can play the back of Armory much safer from anybody that's trying to shoot from that kitchen hatch that is so deadly for Habana.
Also countering the hallway, and like countering the hallway is something that they were actually the most effective at in this attack before, so I don't think that's a terrible idea.
It is definitely a different one. And this is an adaptation that we've always loved to see, because it means that teams are trying to reinvent themselves with just tiny changes. A shield here, a reinforced wall there. Works so far. Fun. BRK definitely need this round, though.
They are still off to a strong start, but already 2 minutes burned. They've got all the control they need. They've got the hatches open. Flash is starting to come out. They're going to start trying to clear up those wire as well if they can, but not sure if they brought any nades here. Nope, none of these operators can bring grenades, so they're definitely not going to be clearing that barbed wire with those. They're going to have to go for melee at best here. Stalling out, 50 seconds left. It's not looking good. Habana losing half their health. Already used all the X-Kairos.
Oh, Diogo getting low on HP, but he will get one. And one as well will chuck in the C4 and get a frag for himself. One more as well for PX with the Vector, leaving Spawns and GCR alive here. With the Habana and the Lion. He pops one, E1D, waiting for the second, and Novice is so close up on the hallway, just looking in. Diffuser, you see it on the floor, and they can't really do anything about it. Spawn's last man alive. And I fear that this round will go to BRK as all 5 players are still alive. 16 seconds on the clock.
Use your flashes. Come on.
Win the round, check a flash.
Literally all you have them for is to do this right now.
Oh, here we go. Novice comes in.
Unfortunate.
Gets the kill. I don't think the flashes would have really helped too much.
It certainly would have been better than just blind peek.
10 seconds on the clock.
Yeah. Well.
Diffuser's on the floor. Everybody's watching you from all 5.
Yeah. Just a waste of utility.
I know Lion.
Bring a Claymore then.
I know Lion is good, but like,
come on. He's not a fragger, but if you're not going to be fragging with him, bring a Claymore instead of flashes. Like, do some more support, and because you saw, for example, sometimes Lion having to cover the flanks. Anyways, we'll see. This, though, is forcing YeaH back to bar. So had they won that, they wouldn't have had to go back to bar. And this is actually giving BRK the opening they need to take this to overtime. So that was a crucial round for them to win, since it forces YeaH into a tough spot. However, they didn't have the worst bar defense, but they're definitely going to have to adapt to what came last time. Now, obviously, BRK know what they're going to have to play, so they're going to be prepared for this attack. They're going to be bringing out the YeaH, so that should be a bit of an interesting attack in terms of how this goes. We'll see if they still go for the strip side. They're not bringing in Habana or anything like that. They're just going to go straight to blow open a wall. There's 2 uses of the Thermite. If you're going to attack the stock side, you can blow the garage wall. If you're going to attack on the strip side for pool table, you blow the pool table wall. So 2 good uses for Thermite. You don't really need both Thermites. You can use the other one to try and get the hatch up in Gym, which you do want open, which is the hatch that looks like Revolts is pretty much standing on. That is an important hatch for attacking from above if you can, although they have a buck, so you don't necessarily need to play the hatch. You could open the floor instead. But it doesn't look like they even want to bother reinforcing it, and they're just giving it to buck for free, which is a bad idea. Because now, well, maybe Yuno will go up and reinforce it, actually. Because you want them to have to use the Thermite for it, because that's more of a risk, because he's got to be inside, whereas the Habana can do it from the hatch above, a lot more safe, and can actually then fight from the roof all the way down. But either way, they are bringing the YeaH instead, which is still a great choice in terms of attacking a lot of these spots.
Especially looking at how Novi's been playing the YeaH.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely someone to fear.
Now, I don't think Yuna trying to fight the top floor is the best idea because he's not the fastest operator. Having a higher speed operator or a higher frag roll operator is a little bit better for fighting the top floor because you're very solo on it and you need to be quick in your responses. However, he does have the Legion Mines he can use to support that in terms of knowing kind of where they're going to be coming from. Could use that to fast peek, so it's not the worst possible idea by far, but it is a riskier one than having, say, for example, the Bandit playing up there. Either way, though, good pre-fires coming out from Diogo, not going to find anyone. And then one, again, on the glass, which I guess worked last time, so despite all the flack I was giving him for not having Cyber on it. They are droning that out, and then Legion looks like he might have been looking the other way. So Yuna might be stuck here, thanks to Cyber coming in and trying to get him. Navi's, though, at least being smart about this, making sure it's clear, making sure there's no goo mines there, no traps, making sure he's as safe as possible. And they are ready to open this. Interesting, they go for the corner. Maybe they just want to use both Thermite charges and open up the whole wall. Cyber, though, trying to get a free pick here on Legion, and Legion not falling for it, thanks to Buck opening the wall and not being able to turn that into a frag. He's going to give away his position still, and Legion doesn't have to play this aggressive. He can play that back.
Yeah, he can just fall back and force the attackers into him, and then his traps will be a lot more difficult to deal with.
2 attackers, though, and this is a much...
Oh, here we go! Quick run in from Yuna, can't spot the second, unfortunately. But the YeaH out of play, that is a pretty big pick.
That was a worthwhile trade. I mean, giving it to Cyber is really bad in terms of giving up that top floor, but taking the YeaH out, that's great. And then a little bit of smoke damage on 1. Nicely played by the FK1 smoke.
And look at the amount of time that has been burned so far by YeaH Gaming. 40 seconds on the clock, and it's a 4-4 total.
Oh,
try to go in for the pick here, but 1 will just take more damage as he drops off strip here. E1D will get popped by the Lion on Diego. Revolts is ready, and GCR is just baiting here. Oh, tries to go in for the kill against the Buck. The Buck will get delayed for just a bit. C4 thrown out, can't really do much with that. As they both maneuver, and that'll be the victory for Cyber. Diffuser will get set to the floor. It's a 3v4. 3 players from Cyber. BRK low on HP, but the Claymore from BX works out fine. Revolt's trying to get some information, doesn't spot anybody outside. They're all waiting for him in here. There's nobody really trying to push.
Hope he's enjoying the view.
From anything. You need to get this done here. There's around 10 seconds left on the clock before you need.
Yeah, good timing on that Lion.
Dropping from Revolts. Fortunately, they're ready for him. Spawns gets 1 kill as he gives himself an extra boost of HP. 1 won't even peek this as there's no time on the clock at all. C4 will get thrown out in vain, and Diogo's ready. Doesn't even need an E1D or anything. He can just watch from the outside of the pool table. That's the angle that they were possibly waiting for from Garage with that Valkyrie cam. Didn't even need it, and all 3 players were left alive at the end. We go into overtime. BRK bring it back after YeaH been up 4-2, and as you said, the fact that YeaH messed up their attack downstairs forced them back up to bar.
Yeah, cost them going into overtime at this point, which, as we said, neither team are really doing so hot on. I do think they could have defended that more effectively. Having, for example, the Doc on Echo still would have been a lot more effective, as he was just trying to take firefights. It's not that he didn't do anything, but he wasn't able to stall them off. However, I think the biggest point of failure for them is they cannot counter the Glaz, right? One way they could counter the Glaz in terms of not having to fight him is if they were able to keep control of that top floor. Had they been able to counter that Buck, I mean, they tried, though. I'll give them that. Legion did get 1. He was expecting to fight just 1. He did get the YeaH, and that gives their attack quite a bit. Wasn't able to find the Buck, though. Once the Buck was able to take control up there, they lost control. And my point with that being, if you're not going to reinforce that hatch, open it. Keep that top floor. Keep 2 people upstairs. Fight it as best you can. Keep a vigil in a Legion, and don't run out like before. But keep that top floor. Keep that hatch. Control Jim. And then all you have to do is shoot the guy going for the defuse plant. If you have impact nades, say for example on Legion, you can throw those down. Same with if you have Vigil up there. You have 4 impact nades you can use to try and take them out when they go for that plant. You don't even have to open up the hatch. You can open up some of the floor right there, just above it, and then you have a situation where you don't have to fight Glass. You just stop the plant, and then all Glass can do is watch and try and send another man out to the slaughter. So either way, as we always say, hindsight's 20/20, but I think that is the adaptation they could make if they have to fight Bar again.
Well, BRK so far sitting up pretty calm here in the bar.
They are going to definitely be pressing to try and make this work, but they can't just win this round and take it here. They've got to claw their way for at least 2 more rounds, and they have been kind of on the back foot most of the time, but at least I feel like BRK have warmed up quite a bit. YeaH Gaming, though, again, going with the no bandit, no mute strategy, and the soft wall. So they're definitely playing that very differently. They want to be able to really fight that wall rather than just deny it.
Interesting is that we haven't seen an E1D yet, which is much better in my opinion.
Yeah.
We both agree on this. You need to use, especially when you're playing Clubhouse, there's no reason to force them out prematurely.
Well, not only practice for when he only has 2, right?
Very good point. Always pragmatic.
Yeah, they're efficient.
Always efficient.
I like them opening a lot of that wall, though, from above. That's a good read. Unfortunately, catching one there. Buck just a little too quick on the draw, not seeing what he can do with that angle.
They'll fall back into the fridge for just a second as it reloads in. One still trying to go through. Downstairs here, Novi's will rotate in and try to help him out.
Let's all stack up for C4, guys. At least he has some flashbangs. Maybe that'll help for a push there, in that he could throw a flashbang onto the smoke to try and push up, but he's got to bait out all these smokes first. And there goes an ADS burn at least. There we go. There's one flash, and it's flashing the guy. It should not be flashed, unfortunately.
Hey, Blitz immune to flash. That'll be something.
Yeah, why is that not the thing, right?
Please don't never listen to us, by the way.
Glasses.
Never listen to us, by the way, though.
Which is funny since Pulse is the one with sunglasses. Either way, though, at least we did see, for example, we saw a Diogo did bring the Claymores this time. So it's like, you know, they finally got the two. Okay, let's have him on Claymores because that was more effective in terms of, like, he didn't get those flashes out. So good to see. Good to see some adaptations, small changes there.
Moving yet again into the Legion mines here.
Yeah, well, YeaH is getting some mileage out of that Legion when it comes to knowing, hey, Blitz is going to come down my tunnel every time.
Now look at the amount of time left here. We see the E1D being used. And all 5 players on both sides are now alive.
Come on, Cyber. You got to find an angle here.
Can't find it. Nobody's rotating in. And as I say that, here we go. That's the 1 kill he needed. That's the second one. Who's going to go for the plant? Well, they already will. They're waiting for the one.
Oh, he's
C4 will
now.
Not going to hit anything. Cyber will get 3 here.
All right.
And they're all running. This is why you reinforce that wall, because it gives you so much. The 1 will go down. Novi's watching for the second rotation from blue. As PX gets 1 for himself. Spawns in on spray into Novi's. He's spotted though, 3v1. Has to play the long range play. We know how good the Vector is, but it's going to be super difficult to get this done here, especially when you have Diogo ready for you on the line in bar. And BRK pick up the first round in overtime. And for the past 3 rounds, 4 rounds, it's been going so well in their way.
Yeah, it definitely seems to have lost that love and feeling in terms of the early start they had. It seemed like BRK just finally warmed up now, playing a lot better. I mean, it doesn't help that YeaH was forced to bar twice, though, and we haven't seen that from BRK yet. They only forced to bar once. So it was a situation where YeaH winning more of their defenses than attacks, in a sense, actually handicapped them, because it left them in a situation that gave an extra attack round to BRK, and I think that helped them catch up a little bit, in that it would have been somewhat better to win all of your attacks and all of your defenses, of course, but I think that's a given. We are going to see the Dokkaebi come out again, but this time for attacking downstairs.
She was fairly effective.
And we'll see. I mean, they're not bringing the Thatcher, though. Something that I do think was effective, but they did fail some of that last attack.
Yeah, they're replacing him with the Dokkaebi. Of course, they fill completely different roles.
Yeah.
And, having FK1 on here might be the help that they require, just to get maybe some sort of angle.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what Cyber did with that buck last round. 3K from above, just playing pretty much one angle.
That's why we were talking about this before.
Yeah, the rotation.
When we saw the Habana dying before she could open the kitchen hatch, that was a nail in the coffin.
That's something that should never happen to you, because there are so many safe ways to open that. Like, you just should not be. Like, what are you opening the floor prematurely, probably? You know, like, there's just too many ways to play it that you shouldn't be getting killed like that. But either way, you know, that was 1 round, not a big deal. But it could be a big deal for YeaH Gaming as BRK now have the chance to actually take this first map, surprisingly. So, I think maybe it was it Spawns that was the one bringing the flashes on the line instead? Because he is doing so right now. Maybe he's the one that needs to switch over to the Claymores. See those good smokes to come out from Dokkaebi here, so that is a good extra smoke roll they have. They do at least have grenades from FK1, so they can do some clearing out of utility from above, which is something we did see some Memorial play potentially before, and that was good to see some slight changes in trying to attack that as well. Cyber going to be the one to try and stall out any push, but I don't think they need to push from Dirt Tunnel, and they're certainly not running that blitz. So as you said, YeaH before on that blitz, didn't turn out to be the most effective thing. So switching over to Dokkaebi might be the change that they needed for that.
Yep, they'll just open up here. The hatches, stock to blue. They'll have
just about seen them.
If only you know, FK1. If only you knew what you're looking at.
But I think he's still on the other side of the wall, so I don't think you would actually been able to see him. But it's just like those outlines make you feel like they're so close. At least they're doing a good job droning here. They're not pushing too prematurely, not getting themselves killed, keeping all their utility for when they need it, for when they need to push. This is a good round, a good conservative round from YeaH, who are on the back foot now and really, really need to win this. So I appreciate that, but they are opening up maybe a little too many holes here for how they're playing this right now, because Spawn's not necessarily the best person to be playing that hole. At least they're not opening up underneath him where he's laying. Oh, the drone was a nice spot too, but they cut it off, and then FK1 catching Cyber. Smoke down, that's a good pick.
It's a very good start here for YeaH Gaming. Of course, with a minute 2 on the clock. You're seeing Diogo for another time. Well, he'll be bringing that Legion with a deployable shield just so he can stay behind an armory without being threatened too much from an odd angle here in Kitchen. YeaH will call his opponent's
position to stand and do
that. Here we go, though. Spawns is ready, and as you see, Novi's trying to rotate in. He'll go down. PX gets the call, but he's ready here for the kill. Volts does get one. In the meantime, C4 thrown out by one, and will get the shot on Spawns. 3 versus 2. But as the call already happened, we're not able to answer it just yet. Here we go. We'll finally clean it up. YeaH can run back and call them yet again and give the attackers a bit more of an advantage. Is here. BRK have to prep for the retake. C4s have already been used up, except for PX here. One in hand, can throw it right behind, and he will keep that in mind as C4 comes out. And that's FK1 out of 2 versus 2. One low on HP. He's trying to get the legs here on YeaH. Slow as well, but GCR will land the kill on the Habana, and YeaH sprays him with the SMG-12 as the cross angle is very much in the hand of YeaH Gaming. YeaH just ready at the end, gets a quick double tap here, and cleans things up with the SMG-12.
Some great teamwork and great plays in the back of Armory there. They played it so that, for example, you saw YeaH just kind of dodging back and forth using the shelf to his advantage and the limited visibility. So he could kind of see, they could kind of see, but it was just not a lot of sight lines in terms of being able to actually land shots. And that was a smart way to do it, because all he had to do was play time, do as much as he could from that backside. It was unfortunate that that one phone call didn't save the guy in blue from Mira. It was just, he was like, you don't forget this call. I'm just going to go ahead and take that shot. And it was interesting that you can, that you can cancel that partway through. That's not something you see often, but him canceling, turning off the phone is what gave him that opportunity and just a good angle. But
there should be a way where you could just like throw the phone because you don't want to use it anymore.
I keep joking they should just make an operator that can overload the phones and then use them as like grenades. Just forget this phone.
You've been playing too much Deus Ex, haven't you? No, that's me.
Revolt 10K.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So that is, but look at the number of assists from YeaH because of those blitz kills from the Goo Mines. He is definitely getting his money's worth out of
Welcome to the life of a Legion main, where most of your points and most of your work.
You just look at a different column when you're reevaluating your play.
Like, how many assists did I get this game?
Yeah.
Anything less than like 6 or 7?
Yeah.
It wasn't that great.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I don't think Dokkaebi gets assists if you kill someone while they're answering their phone.
I actually don't know. Maybe we can get some information on that.
But they are setting up some good intel here this time in the actual site to try to make sure that if there's an attempted hatch drop, that they're going to have some idea where the people are playing at. I mean, if there's enough smoke, you might not be able to see anything, but I like that. Getting different intel from a different angle so they can fight it properly instead of trying to fight it just from the boxes. They're going to open up a bunch of the hatches here. Again, not using the thermite to do so, because that's something that YeaH Gaming does instead. But I do like that a little bit better. The question is, are they going to go for the same blitz push right through YeaH's Goo Mines over and over again? Are they finally going to try a different push? But there is not necessarily a great alternative blitz push for the site. So if you're going to do that at this point, bring a Thatcher, right? Like, just clear those Goo Mines out with something. Or even just have Buck grenade as much as possible to try and clear those out along with the wire. But we'll see how they're going to play it there. Novi's already falling victim to one of them as it is.
They have thrown a C4 downstairs here, looking at the kitchen. So maybe they're trying to wait out for something, bait out a kill. I'm not sure what's in the hands or what's in the mind of YeaH Gaming. But here we go. That's the kill for FK1.
Apparently.
Yeah, well, that's now in the head, buried very deeply in Novi's head. As that's a Habana out of play. Fortunately, though, they were able to open the kitchen hatches.
Still, that's a lot of gunpowder out, though.
Well, it's a great start for YeaH Gaming. And, of course, this is a BRK pick. First map, so see if they can turn it around.
I realized why I was incorrect later is I realized YeaH picked attack on it.
There you go. So. Never really wrong, right?
Yeah, never read.
Well, FK1 will get tagged just a bit.
Ooh, nice grenade. taking advantage of that soft wall. Well played. Although, unfortunately, that was kind of a sacrificial drone at that point.
Well, C4 is being readied here, as you see, push potentially from the Blitz.
That is an alternative Blitz push, at least, but it is one into C4, and this is not... Oh, there we go. Oh,
the grenade comes in from Cyber.
Cyber with the save.
Perfectly timed. They knew that the C4 was very much going to be used here by...
It's like they were trying to bait it out a little bit, too, with that Blitz first.
Yep.
So, well played on that attack. Now they've got a little bit of the advantage to turn it around from losing that Hibana, but as you said, at least done his job.
And, of course, there is no C4 left on the attacker, so they'll try to move around and pinch through. As YeaH contesting here on the back of the site, and that'll be the kill. Headshot as well on PX, the Valkyrie doing the work, but GCR will fall to Diogo's line. It's a 3v3, 12 seconds on the clock. E1D will get popped. Cyber will drop into yellow, trying to fight against the Valkyrie as one more goes to the side here. And another for the Legion. Diogo left alive on the Lion, but he can't do anything. There's a Legion mine right in his foot. And this will go the weight of the defense as YeaH Gaming pick up map number 1, a fairly exciting one on Clubhouse, 6-5 in total.
That was very close for a map that they started so strong on, but as you said, BRK's pick, so it wasn't a surprise to see them come back. But yeah, definitely close that out. It's unfortunate that, I mean, YeaH definitely deserves MVP in a sense, because you saw even at the end there, that goo mine cost him his ability to sprint.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to do as much with the limited time left because he was stuck with the caltrop in his foot.
And that's the important part. That's why we talk about the assist. That's the second column you should be looking at if you're playing Legion, because a lot of the times you will be saving your team just through that. We're here, even if you had the diffuser in hand and wanted to go for a plant, you can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give too much credit in the sense that they kept making the mistake of walking Blitz into them. So they did give YeaH quite a bit of freebies on those 8 assists, but at the same time, like, they even pushed Blitz around a different angle this time. Still, he was still very effective with those goo mines. You even saw Hibana getting goo mined early. So some good placements, some good intelligent play.
The Valkyrie, though, being able to pick around, maneuver time and time again. We saw the 3K from the Valk.
Those extra cameras really help.
Yeah, and being able to turn around into blue and playing off of information from there. They already had a Valk cam in there, but as soon as they heard a drop, immediately saw the turnaround to take down the Buck that was trying to push in from blue. So there's a lot as well to give to quick reactions and a lot of experience playing the game and being able to isolate every single noise of what's going on in those 5 seconds of aggressive play. The one thing at the start of this season we saw after the first week that rounds were ending with around 37 to 39 seconds left.
Yeah, that's really changed.
That's not the case. A lot of rounds have been ending.
And that was like first week only.
Yeah.
Like, that was the only time.
And now it's like, oh, the push is happening in 15 seconds, and the attackers always lose when they do that.
Yeah.
Unless they get, a really lucky E1D that pops everybody as
We have seen that a couple of times this time, where it's catching some of those late defenders off that are just moving too much because they're really trying to get in the right position and they're just mistiming it, and they're like half a second late. And luckily, with the changes coming to line, assuming that the ones from the TTS continue, then stopping moving will stop you being marked, so they won't be in as bad a spot if it's not spotted immediately. They don't see them with the red outline right away, but that you still get spotted in the first place. So it's not perfect, but it will definitely make it so that, as you said, it's
very
much
much be viable. That's for sure. It's just you have to know how to time things correctly. You can't just like throw out one E1D just to feel things out. You'll only have 2 of them.
And we saw them used more effectively in the later rounds, towards the end of the round.
The start was like, oh, it's 2 minutes 10. Let me just pop an E1D here for no...
Well, it's like testing the waters at the point. See if you can catch people out early. Like, if you're playing casual, you can definitely throw those out, for example, because you're like, people are just doing whatever. You can catch people early round. This level of play, probably not so much.
No, probably not so much. You probably want to keep that utility and all of your abilities together until you really need to use them, because you are waiting for that coordinated play. You're waiting for information from your teammates, and we'll see how things play out here on map number 2. Remember, it's YeaH Gaming that are up 6-5, and they were able to win map 1 on BRK's pick, as now we go into Oregon, and this is YeaH Gaming's pick. Sylvie's turning off on the defense.
One going to be on that blitz yet again. Cyber going to be on that YeaH. Now, I do want to call it Cyber for having actually a good buck play multiple times. I think, you know, when I was saying that maybe having one on the glass was a bit of a mistake, and I still think that might be true. But at the same time, I do think Cyber was very effective on his role. Maybe just obviously a good overall player. You saw with that really heads-up grenade play, getting that Mira and stopping that C4 throw, for example. Some good play on attacking the upstairs despite dying the first time he did it. But either way, I feel like overall he was very effective on that. Now he's going to be on the YeaH, so I'm curious how effective he will be on that. But unfortunately, we will not find out right this second.
Yeah, we'll get to see after we come back here from this remake
Build the excitement
of the lobby. Yep, and then we're all excited to see how Oregon turns out because we've had both games, both with the same starter maps. We have Chalet at the end to go through if we need to go to it. But this matchup between YeaH Gaming and BRK, it's looking like a possibility.
Well, when you go to a 6-5 scoreline on the first map, that's usually a good indicator there's a definite chance for 3 maps.
So we'll get to see a possible Chalet, but still need to go through Oregon. And it's always interesting to see, Devin, how even within the same region, different teams will play different maps in a different way.
Oregon's one that's especially that case because it's so hard to figure out how to play it right now, and teams are really struggling with that, kind of going in and out. So for example, week 1 we saw a ton of Oregon. Week 2 we saw no Oregon. Week 3 we saw Oregon come back because it was some of the teams from week 1. And it's been this back and forth in terms of whether teams are comfortable on it, and they're all just trying to adapt week to week to what they saw the previous week and what worked and what didn't. And this is one of those maps that, you know, Clubhouse, they're still kind of doing the same-ish things for the most part, on defense at least. Whereas Oregon, it's just like, okay, well, what we're doing is not working. And I think, for example, right now, Dorms is a much stronger defense upstairs in Oregon than Basement is because Basement has so many potential weaknesses now.
Then again, certain teams will like to play it differently. Some of them will play a lot more heavy into focusing on the set itself. Some of them, like we saw in our previous matchup between FaZe and Liquid, where we'll see 3 players downstairs in the kitchen trying to deny a plant just by using C4s, and you're like,
as I've said before, this is a C4 heavy region. They love C4s in Latin America.
I can honestly, with the flashy highlights to get out of it, I can see why.
True. They definitely are effective with them because, well, when you use them all the time, that does help practice. But as you saw, that was a little bit of trouble with that being effective in the previous match, right? They weren't able to get it to kind of work till the second time around. So it was a bit of a struggle in terms of making something like that work. Whereas, you know, we're seeing, for example, when we go down to Basement, we're seeing like Blitz is just pushing down aggressively. We've seen that time and time again. And when we don't have Julio to be playing here, because he is infamous for doing that. Yeah. But we could see YeaH and One doing that. Interestingly, they are changing up. They are not bringing One on. No, sorry, they just changed the order. They are bringing him on the Blitz. Why'd they change the order?
They have to.
They got to shuffle it.
It is, of course, a rule where, you know, obviously if there's a rehost, you have to bring the same operators as you did before.
That's why I was confused for a second. Like,
in ESL play, that is. In other tournaments, maybe not. We just know for us here, that is part of the rule. And, you can only rehost 3 times, etc. So far, we're good to go.
So as I was saying earlier, the first mute here coming out, but YeaH actually going to be back on that Legion that he was so effective on last map.
I think, well, definitely Oregon is a much stronger map playing mute. But as Kix was also highlighting, if you're defending downstairs, there's specific spots where you can put your signal disruptors, and they will block out a lot of positions where you can actually use, just like that. You're putting it at the edge. You can block part of where the Habana will be able to use her Kairos.
It just always surprised me when you don't bring a Thatcher, knowing that mute's such a thing on this map for downstairs.
A lot of teams, well, when you're playing, you just come in, you chuck an EMP right over that hatch, and you're like, okay, that's it. It's clear.
Well, it takes out the camera, too, which is a nice extra thing. I mean, you can take out a lot of utility, because it's like, you can take out a lot of ADSs from above. And then, like, you don't have to waste a bunch of flashes and other stuff going down there. But they're taking control of West Side pretty fast. Yeah,
I like how they're pushing in together. They know that they have to take control. Well, not necessarily take control of meeting, but like at least try to push it from the side. Ooh. Novi's getting damage from the side here. He'll spot one.
Wow.
He'll be able to take him out. No, not
no. Wow.
How is he still alive, Novi's here? Diogo, though, will run in and just get 2 kills out of it, as GCR is still alive. They might have missed him here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, One and Yuna will refrag. We're just at the 2-minute mark, and it's already 4 players down. The Ash, the Lion, the Smoke, and the Mute. What is going on?
that they are antsy to play this map after that rehost. The first round sometimes can be the most chaotic because of that looks like YeaH wanting to switch up where they're possibly going to be attacking from and changing where he places those. That wasn't a huge shift, though. It was still kind of the B site defense, but...
it's just a place that you know that'll be pushed a lot more
yeah.
than
it's nice that you could pick those up at least to do that. And he's going to throw one more out to try and stop the plant, potentially, if they try and go for that corner, which is always a good idea because you cannot plant with your foot.
Oh, nicely done here. They'll pick up GCR. And Cyber down to 25% HP. Not the end of the world. They still have the utility. YeaH and Revolts are still alive, and they have a C4 to play with, as well as Goo Mines recharging, as now he'll have an extra one to play with.
He's going to have to use that to stall out because they've got a minute left and no smoke. So those Legion Mines and bullets are about all they have to stall this out, and one C4, because he's already used his 2 impact nades as well. That Claymore, unfortunately, placed just out of range.
Oh, my.
YeaH with an easy...
Oh, no, the laser sight was spotted, and that's why I always say laser sights, they're your enemy sometimes.
Those
C4 is going to get thrown out. Won't hit anybody in the back as PX Cyber and one are in control.
What a show.
And everybody's flash here. The light show is up, and Revolts has no idea what's happening as the smoke is right in his face. Diffuser's been planted in the back, and now it's your worst nightmare. It's one on the Blitz, coming at you live. Choo-choo, the train is coming. And it's got his name all over it.
Yep, it's just like, hey, how's it going? I'm just gonna be here. The slow approach here. This is great burning up time, just slowly forcing him to the back. Now they know he's rotating up, and he can't do anything to come back, which is what he wants to do because he knows running all the way across is going to burn up too much time, and they'll be waiting for him. He needs to kill this Blitz to be able to even try and save this.
Do you have a moment to talk about Lord and Savior Tachanka? That's exactly what Blitz would like to give here for Revolts on Amira. 2 angles to watch, and from the side, one will take him out. This can actually tie out fairly well with Far Cry 5. You can give it, promotional skin, where it's like the Blitz. Let's call him, one and only or something. The Priest.
Played by one too.
That'll be the one, one of the top 10 anime crossovers or something. One of those videos. It'd be something.
Not sure why you're not community manager.
If Blast is watching right now, you know what to do.
Yeah. And you were talking earlier about Zofia not being a big pick for Latin America, so first time going to come out here in this match. Deciding they want to be able to have that soft wall destruction as well as the ability to use those concussion mines and trade that off for the speed, like you were talking about earlier with in terms of not playing Ashe instead. So we'll see if that's going to pay off. But that and a Ying and a Dokkaebi and a Lion means there's going to be some problems downstairs. You think that light show was a lot last time.
But wait until you see this.
Rings and it's going to be a party if they can keep them all alive for the plant. But there is the smoke and the Legion to be able to help stall stuff out. There's going to be a C4 from at least PX. Unfortunately, that's going to be... Well, as I said, Bandit C4 is more common now, so it could be Bandit C4. It is going to be Bandit C4, so that's one extra they have, which is good for this.
With Barbed Wire receiving its nerf quite a while ago at this point, but the fact that you don't have to tap it 3 times,
it's more the speed reduction, not so strong either.
Yeah, let's just grab a C4. There's no real.
Especially like we were saying with the Latin America.
Yeah. Now you have 2 C4s to play with.
Yeah.
And you have Legion mines, etc.
Absolutely. Not to mention this bomb site is very in need of C4. Looks like he might even be calling out for, hey, throw down a deployable shield.
What?
Diogo trained that again here, but with a very different...
Is he trying to block a...
I like that, because if they're going to be playing in smoke, they're not even going to see that there unless they drone it first, which I would hope they would do.
But they will, but...
Well, I guess Zofia could.
But that's such an odd angle for Zofia, because bouncing the grenades to the side, and especially now GCR will get taken down. That is a huge pick. The Habana is no longer in play.
Navi's on that Jaeger.
Oh my god, so that is... You see the Kairos on the hatch, and you're like...
Unfortunate.
Oh boy. That is not a good start for YeaH Gaming.
No Thermite means this is already nearly abort mission time for YeaH Gaming. They're going to have to frag out to make this work at this point because I said you need to pressure from both sides if you're going to make this work. And they are still not doing so just yet.
You can't. When you don't have control of meeting, how can you do that? And Novi's and
2 people of meeting is perfect right now.
And then you still have Diogo watching tower. He goes in for the 1v1 fight, but Spawns is ready for him.
Unfortunate.
Nails the headshot here with the V308.
That's a bad play too, because you needed those extra coup mines were going to pay off in terms of really stalling out the push without the hatch opening.
I don't think they'll even need anything. Because
still,
Novice is so far up, they can just push down on the site. Now, Cyber will throw out his first smoke. They look up the hatch and are like, well, the hatch is already open. And remember, the setup was taken down by the Zofia.
Yep.
So now Novice has to come around from the side and might be able to get the kill. One player injured.
Oh, I don't think he knows
yet. The Fuser is going to get set down on the side. Look at the amount of damage done to YeaH Gaming, though.
Oh, there we go.
FK1 will sacrifice himself. It's 4 versus 3.
Didn't get the plant down either, so not great.
That was a takeaway. Claymore has already been set to watch their back, but the Fuser is now on the floor, and they need to push down. They need to burn one more E1D to come on in. They'll spot the Jaeger, take him out, and Spawns will get another one here to make it 2-2. The Fuser's on the floor, and Revolt's trying to come in from behind. He has no more E1Ds to play with. Revolt's trying to open things up from the front. Bring in a close angle. Can't really do much with it yet. Still a bit too close for them, and no, the only angle you need to watch. We'll get one, but the C4 comes in from one, as that's the Bandit C4 in play.
The pile of
all the
there.
bodies, yeah, the Zofia piled up on top of the Ying, piled up as well on top of their
I think they should
teammate.
put that shield back up, but this time as a grave marker.
Zofia's face is just like, what happened? What just happened?
Unlucky. But so far looking more like BRK's map than YeaH's. I mean, I chalked that up to a lot of aggressive defensive play. I mean, it didn't work out for Legion, but it certainly worked out for Novice. And a lot of the rest of the defenders just able to get those quick peeks on flanks. They were just not ready to fight yet because they didn't have hatch control. So much freedom downstairs to the defenders to be able to rotate around however they wanted. And they were forced to fight a lot more upstairs than they wanted to as well. To, as you were saying, you know, take control of meeting. Because of losing Habana alone, that just completely changed how that attack went down, and the defenders played it very smart in terms of saying now we have the freedom to just play so many spots and just deny so much map control because now they can't plant there without, you know, sacrificing 3 bodies on the altar of the plant. We see one back on that blitz again. It was an effective attack last time. They are going to bring out the Vigil this time from Spawns on YeaH. See if they can do some more work with that. Maybe be able to stop this a little bit more. Novi's actually going to bring out the Zofia this time as well. So both of them deciding that was an effective pick, despite the failure of YeaH. I mean, it did get the deployable shield off the board, so there was that. They're struggling a little bit to open up this wall. It's where you almost just want the impact nade sometimes to open that up a little quicker. There we go. They do get it open. They also have the hatch open as well to be able to defend. So they do want the old roaming smoke upstairs potentially, or he might just be setting up. But this is something we do see a lot. Is
YeaH loves to play this spot up in the bedrooms or up in the dorm and can just look down with his SMG-11 and watch anybody that tries to push through the main lobby. It's a very effective position, but you open yourself up, especially since you're a smoke. Rotating down, unless you have full control of meeting, is very, very complicated.
Well, Yuna getting some more mileage out of those goo mines. Unfortunate for Blitz. And that's the thing, is just like, if one team's bringing Blitz every time and you're bringing Legion every time, it's like easy at that point to get those.
There you see the drone coming in from PX. Spot out the reinforcements. They're already set in the back, and Novi is taking a lot of damage here on the Zofia.
Yeah, this is a bad start so far, but GCR at least pretty low means it's going to struggle to get control up there, but that is not even the bomb site. That's 2 floors up from it. Oh, interesting angle, though, trying to play Buck style.
That's why you see some of the soft destruction come up, or another reason why you would go for Zofia is because you can use her for that soft destruction very efficiently.
Beats Pledge.
There you go. We'll get the kill. That's the Legion out of play, and GCR is still low on HP as well. They just have to clean him up upstairs. His rotation is going to be a lot more complicated. They spot the smoke up on the rotation, and the hip fire will work out for Cyber with the T95 as they'll get the kill on the smoke. Really big round here for BRK as one comes in and grabs one more. Revolts and Spawns, last 2 alive. And Spawns will try to delay things with the Vigil. Just setting up in the attic. Have to fall back. Minute 10 on the clock. This is 100% in the hands of BRK with all 5 players alive. Sure, 2 of them a bit bruised and damaged, but that's not the end of the world. So both players from YeaH Gaming are upstairs. 1 in meeting and 1 in the attic. All that BRK have to do as they're joining in, realizing, oh, it's all open, we can go in. They'll even reset one and make sure that they have a bit more HP because of the amount of time that they can play with. And yeah, relying on an aggressive play, but they will get spotted. Now they have to play the hatches to drop on down. Sit back behind their mirror windows. Spawns still up top. C4 is going to get thrown, not land on anybody. E1D will get popped. This easy kill for the Zofia, and Spawns is all on his own. Got an impact nade to rotate in. Yeah, sure, but you can't really do much against the Lion. As Diogo spots him and nails the headshot.
Well, I appreciate the defense they were trying to go for in terms of spreading out, really making them fight for that top floor control. But losing all of those fights meant you had nothing left at the end there. It was close in that they at least had some time to rotate around on the attackers and be able to try and get some good positioning. They did a good job of that for the most part, and Vigil could have maybe made that work a little bit, but then Mira getting stomped downstairs because they didn't kill anyone left them in a position that was very tough to try and clutch in 2v5 like that, where they've got some good utility left on their operators. It's not easy. And of course, missing the C4 doesn't help.
Twitch played finally.
Yep, there we go. FK1 going to bring it out. Glaz again coming out from YeaH here. So we'll see. They know it's going to be top floor because BRK won the downstairs. So they're going to be playing that Glaz to be able to do a little more work with it. Now, bringing out the Twitch, curious if that is going to be to try and take out PX's mirror window that he's just putting up right there, because that gives you a lot more firepower trying to plant in that room. Also, potentially to get the one that if they, for example, put on the wall that we a lot of times see into the bunks room.
Yeah, it'll be a soft wall, though, looking into bunks.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, they could set it up a lot of different ways.
They do it a lot of
always
times.
is a soft wall, yeah. Oh, the bandit batteries on the...
So they're gonna try and hold via kitchen as well,
yeah,
and the bathroom.
This is a better strat. I like this strat because this one gives you a lot of coverage where you have that wall reinforced so they can't just suddenly come at you from showers, as well as that keeps white stairs a little more effective for rotating off if for some reason they do take control of kitchen and you can't contest it, you can pull off with the Mira. And this is something that we've seen as a defensive strat from EG, for example. They'll run that same one as well as we saw it from 1UP. Yep. With KS, so it is one that is, I think, very effective and has been used quite often. We'll see if it works out for them, but they have a pretty solid lineup for it, and I like the addition of the bandit batteries as well, just to make sure that there's not going to be any kind of Habana to try and give them that extra angle. So seems like a smart choice. They do have the Twitch drone, though, so that does make the bandit batteries a little less effective in the sense that if they read into that, he does have 2 Twitch drones, and there's a good chance no one's going to be watching those batteries directly, so he should be able to just drive up and take those out. Glad's going to fight that from as long range as possible to not expose himself. A good idea because
some players
might peek it.
Some people on the defense get a bit too angsty.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they run out and they're like, oh, hey, free kill.
There we go. See, now they took advantage of being able to have the Twitch drone there. They opened it with the Habana. That is the flexibility that they got from having that Twitch. I mean, they could have approached it from another angle and shot the batteries as well, but having the Twitch drone means that was easy peasy.
You expose yourself to white stairs, and that's exactly what they're counting on here, though. PX will get the frag and take down YeaH. The Glaz will be removed from play. Here comes in. One is ready for him. Look at that. Dropping even down on the floor of the bathroom. Definitely not sanitary, but it definitely works out in the advantage of BRK. 1 more for 1. And it's FK1 on the floor. YeaH Gaming are falling like flies. BRK are reading them like an open book here. Spawns will have to rush in. They spot one in the side, and one gets one more for himself. Revolts, though, finally able to get 1 frag, and to get the second straight-up headshot to take down the Legion. But he's on his own. He's got 3 to deal with, and he has to use these flashes to his advantage. Because remember, he still hasn't cleaned up everybody, and they know where he's at. They hear him moving around. They're going to be setting up close angles, even if they would like to use shotguns up close against him, and that's what they'll be ready for. Cyber comes in with the shotty, whips it up like John Gotti, gets the shot, cleans up the round. BRK up 4-0. No matter what happens, BRK are ready on Oregon.
Looking like a map 3 coming out here pretty soon as we're already on match point. And YeaH Gaming winning the first map means this could be a very short run over to Chalet. That attack definitely fell apart due to Kitchen, more so than anything else, just because they weren't able to take the Kitchen. They've missed those shots on the Bandit, or enough of those shots, because he went feet first prone, which gave him the advantage. Had he gone head first prone, for example, that would have been an easy headshot at that point instead of a foot shot. So it is one of those situations where going prone the right way at the right time definitely helps. Was not necessarily a drop shot or anything, he was just trying to deal with the Lion. But they really should have done a better job countering the Mira first. They should have taken advantage of the fact that they had flashes to be able to take the Mira out. Then they would have been able to provide a little bit extra pinch pressure on that Bandit. They could have flanked him from both sides. And that probably would have worked. I mean, then again, there's also the chance that Bandit could have traded on the Mira kill. But either way, I feel like that pressure would have worked a little bit better. As they did know that the Mira was in there because you saw the Twitch drone go past the bathroom and see the Mira window. Just didn't do anything about it because he was maybe going to go take out the camera instead or something, or get a little bit extra angle and idea where they were playing in the kitchen. Either way, though, just a failed attack strat, collapsing completely on them once they lost a lot of the West control. They're going to be bringing out the Valkyrie this time to get a little more intel. Once again, bringing the Blitz, but for a change, YeaH instead going to be on Mira instead of the Legion. Means Blitz is going to have a much easier time on the soles of his feet. Not going to be so hard for him this time.
Novi's on the Twitch. We're finally seeing here for the second round of the Twitch being picked up. Now it is on the side of BRK. You see that is a very soft mirror window. That is barely hanging on. It's just there hanging on for dear life. Like you cannot move it.
He's I don't know if he's just having trouble vaulting or what, because it looks like it.
He's just standing there.
He's dancing.
Playing around.
Is he waiting for the line to catch him? At this point. Novi's going to be on that Twitch, though, something we were talking about, Twitch play coming out. They are going to try it this time as well. No mirror window set up there. They are going to go for a different strategy on that as it's fully reinforced. One doing a great job clearing out here with PX on drone to help him out. They are going to get all the way up to this wall here. If he's calling for that to be opened, that's going to be a big surprise to FK1 here. Not sure how they're going to go about actually opening that. Could be Hibana x Kairos to do it. Or just even try and wallbang it. A little bit of a risky play from Revolt as well, trying to peek that window maybe too often, but at least FK1 now better prepared for this. Could actually go for some potential wallbangs on the Blitz himself.
He needs some very accurate information as well.
Yeah.
They might use YeaH or Spawns first here with the C4.
Yeah. He's also going to be able to call that out to FK1. Maybe make some picks on that potentially.
And that's why they have these two angles to play around with. C4 will get thrown out. Nice. Here we go. YeaH will get the kill. The roaming Mira is very much a real thing. That'll be Novi's going down on the Twitch. We'll have to rotate back into White Stairs, as one realizing he might just get caught off guard by a C4 from below. Smoke will get thrown in as well, as both of them. C4 will hit, but won't detonate too well next to one. Open up another window here to their advantage. Hibana will get one, but you see Revolts grabs one, and Spawns gets the second. And they also drop the Hibana to the floor. Diogo, last man alive here on the Lion versus 4. And even just sitting in the arsenal can't really do too much.
Nope.
As many weapons as you can give the Lion here, I don't think it's going to be enough unless you give him something like a bazooka.
Still has 2 EE1Ds though.
There we go. Can't use him though. Spawns is ready, and we'll get the shot.
That was just a victory of good positioning and intelligence. Spawn doing a great job on the pulse, really helping out there in terms of calling out where they were playing, so they were able to just position that super well, and that gave so many C4 kills. You saw the one from below, then another one thrown. That extra bit of intel, I think, really paid off in terms of the defense working, because they were able to counter that entire push and just turn it into actually ambushes instead, which is exactly what you need to do on that kind of defense. But I think some of that was just them not taking care of pulse first on the downstairs, not taking control of that downstairs. Really came back to bite them. But was a good round. YeaH Gaming still in this, though, clearly. They're not ready to give up just yet, but that was their first win out of 5 rounds. So there's a very good chance, though, that they are not going to be able to bring this back to overtime. But we did see BRK in a tough spot, bringing it all the way to overtime last map, but that was not this tough of a spot.
So far, it's been very much one-sided on Oregon.
Yep. Really
every single round, except for our previous one, of course, where YeaH Gaming, they were sitting pretty. They were able to get that victory in hand. The one round. It's going to be a long way to the top, though, if they want to rock and roll. So we'll see how possibly they can bring it back here. The Dokkaebi will be their idea. They'll bring the Thermite as well. Both hard destructors when you're attacking here. You have to wonder how they're going to use them efficiently. And again, that extendable shield from the Legion.
It wasn't a terrible idea. Now they didn't bring the Zofia, so they're not going to be able to take that out. Not that that led to the win or anything last time. It did. It might have even cost Sophia's life, like you were saying before, in terms of overexposing. But Diogo getting it caught out on that lesion. However, they are not in a position to act on it because, as you were saying, those early Lions not doing a whole lot. I mean, they give you an idea here.
Oh, here we go. They try to 1v1 Novice on the YeaH. 416 gets a spot on spawns, but can't get the kill. And they have a cross angle here. The first one out of play. Diogo will get the shot on FK1. It's a pretty big kill here. Spawns, though, will be able to refrag. They take the sledge out for the opponent's YeaH, and it's a fairly equal trade between both teams. And just wasting as much time as possible. They need to make sure that they can do something with Diogo, but look at the 2 angles they're trying to play with. Even 3, he runs on down to the basement and pops a goo mine. A very good spot here for BRK, able to retreat with Diogo for you losing a high utility operator.
Yeah, good to get them all back on site at that point in terms of now they've burned up a lot of time upstairs. Got at least 1 kill on the sledge, which is some grenades off the board. That's not a bad play there, as well as a decent gun. So good start for them. And now that is going to force YeaH Gaming to at least do a lot of clearing of the rest of the map before they can set up this attack. And it looks like they're actually going for a tower push here. So look at all this setup. They're all prepared to fight on the laundry side aggressively, but it's not actually going to come from there. So they're going to need to rotate around, unless that's just to set up a quick flank run up.
I wonder where the second mirror window was set up, though.
Yeah, usually it's going to be on that back wall facing the back tower. I'm not sure if we had a chance to see that or not
that's
yet.
If you
nope,
play,
it's not there.
You have that double mirror window if you're planning on playing a super defensive turtle style.
Yeah.
Though here, not the case, and we see most teams just utilize the second one.
They haven't opened the lobby hatch either. Interestingly enough, they have the Habana still alive and have not opened the lobby hatch.
Yeah, it's usually a main part of the checklist.
It just forces them in positions like Cyber can't sit, for example, but PX gets a kill on at least the Thermite, so that's not going to be helpful.
Smoke will get thrown out, and they're still waiting for a potential push to the side. The diffuser is dropped on the floor. This is going to get picked up here by the Lion as Revolts comes in. And he'll get spotted with the goo mine, but no, he's going to get dropped to the floor as the smoke comes in for the finish, and the last kill comes in for BRK to tie things up. What is supremely reactive defense from BRK Esports?
Yeah, they just definitely had a better, more aggressive defense that seemed to work without losing too many of their players. When YeaH Gaming was trying to play more aggressive defenses, they were just losing almost all of their roamers on it. It was, I mean, when it comes to aggressive roam play, BRK clearly have it on this map as opposed to YeaH. And it was, I mean, they barely got 1 round out of it. Revolts and Spawns still bringing out plenty of kills, but just no one else on the team really bringing them out, and no one turning those into wins.
We said it before. Kills are not the thing that matter the most.
Especially if you're the only one getting them.
Yes, and you can, we've already set that to CLG, and they have understood their mistake, and now the same mistake. You can get a lot of kills, that's fine, but if you can't use those kills and capitalize on them to actually bring a round to your favor, it's just a kill. It's just an extra stat that you have on the board, and that's it. Doesn't help your team when your goal is literally survive here.
Yeah, well, hopefully, take the moment to kind of recollect themselves and think about it, because now is where we get to the interesting map, the one that they played on Sunday just a few days ago. So this is a rematch on that where it was a very, very neck and neck. Now, obviously, as we were saying, it was an 8-7 scoreline, meaning there was a lot more rounds to be played and a lot more chance for it to kind of go back and forth.
Keep in mind that BR6 is played with a, first to 6, unless you go into overtime on 5-5.
Sort of best of 10 with an overtime rule. It's a little tricky.
It's a bit of an oddity. It's very different, and they also play best of 1. So when you're focusing on a single map, and here, basically turned to a similar thing. We have to play on Chalet. Both teams are tied 1-1, and a reminder that Clubhouse went 6-5 the way of YeaH. They were in the lead. They were 4-1 first. They had a tie-up 4-4, and then they were able to bring it into overtime as YeaH finally closed it up in the final round, a final possible round on that first map. 5-1, of course, on Oregon proved that it was very much in the hands of BRK.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, overall scoreline, we're looking like BRK is a lot stronger, right?
Yes, you look at overall scoreline, but then again, you look at Oregon Clubhouse, different maps, different ways to play them.
Different.
How will things go on Chalet? That'll be interesting. It's kind of between both. It's not super turtly, but it's not much more open. For example, if you're playing on the bedrooms of Oregon. It's going to be, we'll say it a lot, it's one of those caster tropes. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do. But very much will be the case here because, as you said, they played MBR6. It was a back and forth. How does this play here? Have any of the two teams here had the time to adapt? Because as we've said before, and we'll say it again, loser of this game will drop down to relegations.
Yeah, not a good place to be.
Yeah, obviously you're not out of Pro League yet. However, you don't really want to put yourself in that spot where it's just one best of 3 and you're out.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of strong teams go down there. I mean, I want to say, though, that's not unusual, I guess, in this format. I mean, this is the last run of this format for now. We have seen, for example, like Continuum, aka Evil Geniuses, go down to relegations previously because of this format. So you see a lot of strong teams just because of the 2-group format and the way the double elim works. People end up down at that bottom that are surprising. And these teams, I mean, yes, these are not the 2 strongest teams in the region, which we just saw pretty much fight. But this is 2 teams that have a good history so far, and I would not expect to see one of them in relegations, but that's kind of what has to happen based off the way the brackets have worked out and where they're at right now. I feel like it could go either way, but I am impressed with BRK having come off of losing their map by 1 point to just sweeping map number 2, almost to 5-0.
Reacting to the attack so well. From YeaH Gaming. BRK were just ready for them. And when you look at things theoretically, how things have been going over the past few months, you would say, oh yeah, YeaH Gaming have the advantage here. No problem. Well, it's a lot closer than what you may think. And in this case, community vote, they have been very correct in their choice here.
Well, at least they were right in that it's going with 3 maps.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We expected it. We never ruled it out, especially in this sort of matchup. So we'll see how Chalet goes. We're, of course, getting ready for that match. We'll be loading in just a bit. But what are going to be the biggest changes here? Are we going to see more roam-heavy Vigil somehow?
This is a hard map to roam on, and this is a map that's very attacker-heavy at the moment. And it's very difficult for a lot of teams to play it. I mean, it depends on how you play it. I mean, in terms of your strats and whatnot. But roaming can be very difficult in this map because, like, say, for example, the fireplace room.
Yeah.
Is very open, and there's a lot of people that can sit at a lot of different angles and take you out. I mean, that can work both ways, but overall it's very difficult, and then a lot of the rotations can be kind of hard to pull off through the stairs.
Yeah.
So you end up in a situation where defenders end up having to turtle more than you'd like. Yeah,
and of course, it's a lot more difficult to rotate in because you'll have a lot of times somebody watching from the balcony, or K9 as it's mostly known. Basically, this is kind of thing for us. Whenever you forget the name of a spot, just call it K9. I think it works out. It's a universal.
If it's a flank coverage angle,
it's a K9
that you are sticking on, yeah.
And especially like holding off on that balcony and looking down the windows into library or looking down at the fireplace. That is exactly, especially when you have a Blackbeard, makes it almost impossible to rotate away.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, that big open fireplace, because not only do you get an angle of the entire fireplace room, you get an angle on the stairs going down, and you get an angle on the stairs coming from library, you get to see library, you get to see all the way to the L, where people try and rotate from the office side. So that position alone, you already cover a ton of roam play to where, yeah, maybe they could be playing on the bottom floor, but where are they going to come from at that point that you're not going to be able to see them fairly easily other than to the bar or game room, I guess. So it's,
and all of those angles as defense, you're exposed. You're so exposed to really anybody that's holding
Not to mention the difficulty of holding, say, for example, a trophy room. Yeah, there are spots you could hold, but between the drone hole and the window, you're standing in this one spot that you pretty much have to stand still on for the most part. And let's say you even try and cross from the trophy room back over to the dining room. Kitchen window is a death trap because you can see right in through 2 different doors. You can see into dining room. You can see into that angle where that little hallway goes across to the west main door.
Some players, and I'll highlight Nesk here for just a second, have been very crafty. Of course, if you still have some sort of top control, especially over bathroom, office, and the main bedroom, you can use the balcony to jump out and catch 1 or 2 people off guard.
That does happen, for sure.
That has happened a lot, and it's a much easier flank and drop to do because by the time you're out, you still are not detected.
And
so
you
have
can't
a second.
claymore that effectively either because there's a door and a window. So,
and plus you can't claymore it on the side, too much to the side, because then it'll get shot from a defender just looking down the drum hole.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very easy shot for them to
and
make.
Put
it on the side and it's useless at that point.
Yeah. And it's not like you can just put it on the door and hope you catch them when they rip down the door or something like that, because you're going to have to open that door because you have to go in and you have to clear master bedroom. So it's not like an attacker can go and put a barricade back up. So, yeah, it is a tough spot to defend as the attackers, but overall a tough map to defend as the defenders. And so we still see Kitchen Trophy being the majority of the defenses a lot of time. Downstairs just being really hard because it's very easy to get a pinch. Because car garage, you can rarely defend very effectively.
Yeah.
You're mostly going to give that up, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of pressure on wine that comes from the car garage, that comes from the stairs of West Main, that comes from the trench over there by the kitchen window, and then all of a sudden there's 3 spots they can come from, and you're funneled to one little door and a hatch above you that's also very hard to hold because holding dining room is also very difficult unless you can really get like 2 roamers up there that can cover for each other well. So then they've got all these angles down onto wine, not to mention, unless you're bandit tricking, well, a very easy open of a garage door. They've got fireplace stairs. They've got blue to come in. I know I'm saying a lot, but it's like this is what a defender has to deal with on this bomb site. Not to mention what I said about the the trophy room.
This is why we highlight when teams are able to react so efficiently to attackers. Because, again, as attackers, you don't have unlimited manpower either. So you have to pick and choose, and it's up to you to see how the defenders are setting up and then react to it. See, okay, maybe we need a change here. You know,
defensive setups are a lot easier in that you can establish all of your defensive setup during the prep phase when no one can do anything about it.
Yeah.
But attackers, on the hand, their attacker setup does have things that can be done about it because spawn peaks, for example, or roamers in positions you can't expect. So your entire attack setup has to be reactive because you cannot control anything during the prep phase other than slight bits of information that are potentially going to be inaccurate by the time you get into the building. So it's unfortunate for attackers sometimes, but this is a map, like I said, that favors them, so it's not as big a deal. Because, say, for example, droning in is not hard. Droning in from master bedroom, for example, when you're attacking the top floor, it's fairly easy. You drone it in from library, not hard either, because it's not hard to drone out that entire room. And you have some covering from that canine spot so that no one can even leave the library without getting shot, potentially, other than if they can manage to sneak their way to the stairs in the back. But it's just, if you could just pinch that top, easy take. If you can then control the dining room and hold fireplace from there, pretty easy. We've seen more and more teams actually figure out how to hold fireplace to the point where they're bucking open the floor, to where we even sometimes see fuse plays from there. So
yes, I was just gonna mention though, like we've been having fuse not only when you're attacking
from like
into wine, but you're also when you're taking control of office, when you're taking control of master bedroom, because you can at least push out barbed wire, even though nowadays barbed wire isn't really the most difficult thing to go through. You can still shoot things down and combine that with a lion, combine that with a jackal. It makes things so much more difficult.
Yeah,
because you could pop an E1D and you're like, oh hey, what's up?
Hi.
Here's her hockey pucks, and they're gonna blow you up.
Yeah, or even if you do like Hungry style, where you just ying and drop, you do it fuse style on the on bar, for example. So there's definitely lots of options to be able to play that. So, like I said, we barely even touched bar gaming in terms of all the problems with that one as well.
Yeah, this is the part. Obviously, we've had a rehost problems. We're waiting for that to be cleared up, and then we'll be heading into the game. I know we're even more excited than you are. Trust me. So we're getting around. Of course, at the start, we usually have like interviews from Latin America. Yeah. So it takes a bit of time as well. That's why you'll hear us talking on and on and on and on. We love to theorycraft. You can have us for hours, and we'll theorycraft about everything and every single angle. And trust me. If you think you can get us talking about this for hours, wait until you have Kickstarter with you, because if there's any brain that you can spend days picking on about every single angle at Siege, it's definitely Kickstarter's.
Yeah.
And we're not even scratching the surface here, but we do have to take our time here and wait until everything is ready before we jump into the game to minimize any further issues.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a big technical issue in the sense that we get a long delay, but either way, it's hard for us to say, but we will obviously, as soon as the game's ready, jump back in. But in the meantime, yeah, Chalet, hard to defend. It is definitely easy to attack in a lot of ways, but that obviously not a guaranteed thing. And we've seen sometimes teams struggle with not even using Lion properly, which they are adapting to a little bit. So it's hard to say. Like, I'm curious, for example, if we're going to see like a lot of Glass play on this particular map, because there are lots of ways to play it, but it's not necessarily a requirement.
What we've been seeing a lot of, or what we haven't been seeing a lot of anymore, is pushes through a garage and snowmobile.
I mean, you mentioned earlier, though, these teams bring both hard destructors a lot of times. And if they bring a Thatcher too, then it's like pretty much guaranteed, unless they're really bandit tricking well, that you're going to be able to open up both that garage door and also from the car garage, that long hallway down to the wall right there, so you can see right in from car garage with a long ACOG angle right into the room of wine cellar. That puts so much pressure because you can see all the way to that mirror wall that they use in the small closet, as well as people trying to play a mirror window that sometimes is set up to face into the snowmobile, which is what they need a lot of times to defend that. And so it just really opens up all these angles with two hard destructors that are very hard to prevent. It's not like you're going to be bandit tricking both walls as well. You can bring a mute, and that helps because a lot of times they're going to, so you can mute that back wall, for example, so they can't use the Habana, and then you have a successful bandit trick potentially on the garage. You can deny all that hard destruction. However, that being said, then you also have the Habana able to open up the hatch in the dining room that can then have a nice angle down towards the mirror wall of the small closet again. So still going to get utility out of it even if they're trying to deny it with mute jammers. It's just, like I said, hard in terms of trying to prevent a lot of attack strategies. Obviously, you can shoot them, and that is one way to prevent it. If you kill them, they cannot do that.
Especially if it's on the mirror window facing into garage. It's a lot more difficult, especially when the garage is open, obviously, because you expose yourself. You're 100% going to die. If you're waiting below the hatch in that small storeroom when you try to peek out and take down, unless the mirror window is set up very much to Mira's right side, which is, you know, obviously looking from wine, and then opens it up a lot more from a pick from the main door into the cellar from the other side. So you have to still watch out about angles and counter angles.
Yeah. It's definitely tricky. However, there are some advantages that defenders can take advantage of. For example, in the blue side, there is like sort of a little pixel peek you can lean to from the side of a box that's very hard to counter. I mean, obviously you can grenade it and stuff like that, but you have to expose yourself to do so. I guess you could bring in like a Twitch drone, for example, though, and start shocking them, force them out of position. There are ways to counter it, but there are some spots that work fairly well. For example, the defenders can also sometimes use the bomb a little bit in the middle of wine to help fight the snowmobile side, just because it provides a little bit of obstruction. There are some barrels and things like that you can use to cover angles. And if you can successfully hold the wine closet, it becomes a fairly effective beachhead if you can stop them. So say, for example, you do bring that mute and they don't bring a Thatcher to be able to help, you can mute jam that wall. You can mute jam the other ones to stop Habana. So I think that is a very effective strategy when you double up on both bandit and mute. And because you can also then use a mute to stop a Twitch drone from coming in to take out those batteries that are on the snowmobile garage side wall. They can obviously grenade that, or there's other ways to take that out that are not going to be stopped by that. But you also have the potential of having an ADS from YeaH to be able to help stop that, assuming it manages to catch those.
It's been interesting, are the takes into game room.
Yeah.
Because it's being picked a lot more often than we used to before. When you used to see, like 6 months ago, a defense in game room, I believe Penta was one of the first teams to start bringing it back into play, like a lot of things, especially if you look back at Border. They come in on Chalet and they're like, okay, let's play game room, easy.
Yeah.
And they make it happen. And now more and more teams are considering, well, you know what, this is like, why were we afraid of this? We can actually do this. And Millennium proved yet again in their first Pro League day versus Oplon that they can definitely shut down.
It's just difficult because you really have to have good control of that library upstairs. Because you lose that, and then there's so many things they can do from above you. Like we were saying about the fuse, for example, or the YeaH cluster charges as well, style through the floor. There's definitely a lot of ways they can do it and make it work on the attack if they can get control of that library. So you just have to completely fight that library like it's your last stand, so that any attempt to control downstairs, because let's say they just rush downstairs, you can just jump out half the time and get them, because there's so many windows for you to come out on, and they can only climb up the ladder. They can't rappel there. They can't do any other way to get up other than that ladder. So if you can hold that ladder, not an easy thing to do. We've seen a lot of people that try and do that. For example, like we used to see a lot of kind of spawn peak sort of angles with like bandits and stuff like that on those little windows, and people got used to it and it was easy to counter. And so you can kind of do it, but completely denying it, not super easy. But like you said, there are teams that are starting to make it work in terms of finding ways to defend that library more successfully. And maybe just because of the issues I said with defending the other sites, maybe we'll see that more often. We'll see.
Well, we are still waiting around for our final player, at least, to come into the lobby here, as I assume they have some technical issues No information on what they are. We just know that they're trying to get on top of them as we speak. So, looking at a possible join-in right now. But, Chalet is going to be fairly interesting to see. Clubhouse was very much an oddity because when we were on there, you mentioned the way that the rounds were won and lost were almost a loss for YeaH. Unless it was, for that final round that they were able to bring.
They had good attack strats and stuff like that at the beginning, but yeah, the bars ended up kind of working against them. The bar defenses that they were forced to do.
They were forced to do it, of course, because they did win the defense in church, and
it's like one of the things where it's like, oh, I won a defense. That's a good thing because it's been hard to win defense down here.
Oh, hey, I guess I'll lose one.
Yeah, and some of that comes down to the math and the timing and the way that the round counts go down versus overtime. Like, let's say they had made it to overtime without having to play bar, for example, then they would, again, avoid playing bar because then that resets where you can play. So there is a little bit of trickiness to the math in terms of when you win a defense and how that affects you if there's a secondary defense that's really hard to do like bar. I mean, it's not like someone like Border where you're just like, oh, it's fine, I'll go down to ventilations and it won't be a big deal. Or it's like Consulate where it's like, well, all 3 bomb sites are viable, so we don't really care. Maps that are very one bomb site really struggle from that because if you do win your defense, now you're getting penalized for it.
Yep.
So something to think about. And we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the defensive switches have to happen with the best of ones if the number of rounds are extended in next season. So I'm not sure the exact full rules of how overtime work, whether or not it'll be. I imagine it'll probably
Infinite
be
overtime has been an idea that's been thrown around, and it's been tested as well. I've seen a lot of people. I've seen Panky, I've seen Zeronic, I've seen even Macy J that have been running their own private lobbies where you go around and play with a potential rule set with the infinite overtime with the extra rounds, and of course with banning the operators, that's going to be a thing that's going to be integrated in the game. It's going to be very interesting to see in our next season. And so far, so good. We'd like to see more of it, and of course, if you have not run these custom games with your friend, then maybe you should try that out because that's basically how we're going to be playing it next up in Pro League in our next season. We're not too far away with it. It seems like only yesterday, Devin, we've been sitting around and casting the qualifiers for NA, Latin America, and EU to get through to 6th Invitational. Only yesterday we were at 6th Invitational and we're dreaming of the next stage and how big it'll be. And here, our teams definitely have a shot to go through at it. But
closer and closer.
We're ready. Thankfully, we've gotten closer and closer to our 3rd map as now we get to cool down after all this hot talk and get ready to Chalet.
Speaking of cooling down, it'll be interesting to see how these operators play out here as we are going to have a Capcan from YeaH. Not satisfied with his Legion mines. Instead, he's going to have spawns on the Legion saying, you know what, I think it's your turn to wreck their feet. Instead, YeaH going to be just trying to throw out the traps. See if you can get some good kills with those. I mean, this is a very roamer-heavy strategy. I mean, you've got Ella on the roam. You've got Vigil on the roam. You've got Capcan potentially to be on the roam.
Where have you gone,
Legion to help with the roamers. And you've got GCR of a Jaeger is definitely a good roamer as well. So it's like this could be very, very, very roam heavy. And what we just talked about is a difficult map to roam
Is it really going to happen? And we're like, maybe.
At least they're slowing down master bedroom attacks there by putting the Capcan traps on these doors. I think that's a good plan if they can catch them off guard. Obviously, if they drone out YeaH and catch him, then that's going to be a difficult situation. But I mean, when you're attacking at this level, you don't want to drive drones in too far. You want to keep them alive outside half the time. So Capcan, in some ways, could be slightly more viable at a higher level just because they're less likely to know he's there.
And also, it will delay the attackers. The times where Capcan gets really... Oh, that is a pretty sweet spot to set up.
It's all about those bushes. That's where the drones go to.
Yeah, we've seen that also before where, like, the main lobby bush that's right below the stairs leading up into bedroom. That's been used before. I think one of the French teams were using, I don't remember if it was Falco that actually used it to his advantage and just sat in the back and waited. Hey guys, I guess you're not going to check here, and I'm going to get a couple kills off of it.
Yeah.
At least we'll have the Twitch here from 1. It'll be very useful as well to take down YeaH's Capcan.
Yeah, that is going to be what they need, absolutely, because that's going to slow them down a lot less if he could just be on that drone clearing those out so they could take that master bedroom. But it looked like Navi's could be set up with that sledge to take instead from the office side, and this is where GCR is going to be also on the roam, like I said. to be able to try and stop this. And he's going to try and fight that, what we call canine spot over in that corner. So he's looking for kind of additional information there. We do have the wall open, of course. You need that open so you can be able to fight it from dining room, because it is important to be able to defend from the outside. Like I said, you don't want to be standing in trophy. Now, the first line going out a little bit early. They just want to try and catch these roamers, of which, as I said, there are many. And YeaH did at least get all of his cap can traps up and not forced to rotate.
Oh, a little spot of the drone. That's one of the those drones that are set up all up high, and there is one of them that is set up as we speak. Those get you so much information into anybody rotating away from library. Now, both windows have been opened, and usually you'll see one open, one closed, one open, one closed, and this will give you more of an angle, though it doesn't matter. GCR peeks in and gets the shot. That was a sledge. There is no Blackbeard being picked up here, so an easy kill coming the way of YeaH Gaming, who are heavy in the roam, and you know what? It works out fine for them.
Well, we'll see if these Legion mines work out for spawns, but GCR is doing more than enough work with his gun. Like I said, that roaming Jaeger, very effective. That rifle just brutal in terms of getting kills, even without the ACOG, especially on a map where he's killing all inside the cyber.
Lion, finally.
There's the Vigil off the board.
He comes back on to the balcony, and K9 and can't really do much against it. You've already taken down 2 players if you're the Jaeger. You're pretty happy with what's happened. FK1 falls to the floor, and that is not the biggest problem, because look at the time, Devin. 35 seconds on the clock.
And they're barely in the building.
Oh, they're barely in the building, and this is where the Capcan traps get a lot more difficult to deal with, because you don't have time, and you don't have a Twitch drone here to clear things out. You're going to have to run through them and take unnecessary damage, but necessary at this point, because well, there isn't much time to play with. E1D will get popped here. There's still even Kairos to play with, as it was the last E1D that they could have used on the line. They're waiting around through the stairs, and they'll get 1 kill off of it. And that's the second and the third as well. They go in through the Ella mines here, though. They have to run into kitchen as they go in for the plant. Should be a quick peek, but no, they're ready. And Diogo from BRK will land the shot, and somehow the round will turn around and be won by the attackers here. 100% should not have happened, especially with the way that they entered just by using the Jaeger. But then they run in, and the Ella, sure, she's strong. Sure, she's got Ishimot mines that can very, very powerful against any attackers. But then you have 2 angles to watch, and you have a CZ. Well, that thing, as strong as it is up close, it's not an easy weapon to control at even that range.
Well, you saw the upside and the downside of having that many roamers. The upside was GCR was able to get a lot of kills because they weren't able to pin him down. But the downside meant that once they were able to get in and get kind of formed up in a group like that, it was very difficult for them, the roamers, to win the fights, because it was generally a 2 or 3v1 against most of the roamers. And that made it so that the trades were nearly impossible, because the roamers at that point were too far spread out from each other. And that was just down to, I mean, really the defenders lost that fight because they didn't come back to site. And you saw GCR maybe trying to do that, coming up from the stairs down, the fireplace stairs. But it was just a case of, like, there was so little time left. I mean, maybe they were hoping to just kind of catch them in the back, but it was just bad timing in terms of coming up from the fireplace stairs before they had made their push. I mean, I expect he was thinking that they were closer to that push just because there was so little time left. But either way, like, really well played by BRK in taking that back. That was around that. Definitely should have gone over to YeaH in terms of at least what GCR did by himself. You see Cyber with the cheeky spawn peaks with that ACOG on dock.
But with that first round, especially with the way that Oregon went 5-1 in total, BRK have to be feeling so good right now. And YeaH, especially after that previous round, they have to feel fairly demoralized. And if a potential spawn peak works out here for Cyber, that can definitely put down the morale. And it's been very important for teams, even at this high level where, you know, we always throw around the word tilting, but tilting is definitely a thing.
Oh, yeah.
At really any level of play.
Well, BRK coming off this momentum, at least from last map, looking pretty strong so far, but at least Navi's taking a little bit of damage early. You got a fairly decent attacker lineup, but now, of course, Navi's doesn't have to bother with some kind of reset. He's just getting docked up.
Stim is finally being used.
Yeah, that's good. Good job.
Usually you'll just see a dock being used for the ACOG, and that's it. He'll die, or, you know, he'll get kills, but that's about it. He doesn't even think that, yeah, I can actually use that Stim pistol. Oh, boy.
Caught him right there. Not doing anything about it just yet, but that's nice information, and he didn't give it away. Cyber actually potentially exposed himself too much here. Unfortunately, no one's there to do anything about it just yet. They do have some idea at least to attack from above. But now,
they try to spray in. Unfortunately, an FK1 can't capitalize on the position here. The drone had spotted Cyber in the past, but that is in the past for sure. FK1 taking some damage early on. Now we'll just be opening things up here to watch for the connector.
They are definitely making some progress getting inside here, but the defenders, again, on a heavy roam pattern here, are doing quite well. And then PX going to be able to call it. A lot of information is going to help those roamers play effectively. You got the old 3-armor roam here from Cyber, staying alive pretty effectively, despite the droning that came out from Revolts earlier that, again, they failed to capitalize on.
The Seascut inspiration continues from the spawn peak to the 3-armor roam. No matter how much we go away, it's still something that stays in the back of everybody's minds. Cyber still below, 1 on the site.
Uh-oh, phone calls coming out here, and that is the ring of 30 seconds remaining along with the Lion. This is where they just start really running into trouble. However, they still have 5 men alive, and it's a 5-on-5.
Oh, they're running right next to one another. It gives them a kiss, but there we go. That's the knife coming in from Novi's here. BRK in the lead. And that's Yuna down, but DCR will get the frag. Nicely done here. Is FK1 still on the same level of damage. Spawns will get the headshot, but he exchanges a lot of damage to himself. One will use the SMG-11 to his advantage. Spawns will go down. Revolts goes down as well to PX up close on the dining here. FK1 trades out. Now, the shotgun in hand as the defense will take the round. They had every single angle shut down, and BRK will take the second one.
Again, just too many one-on-ones, 1v1s, but this time from the attackers. Whenever they had information, they weren't able to actually pinch the roamers, and they just kind of left them to freely run the map, which was, I'd say, definitely a huge mistake from the attackers in terms of like not having a coordinated pinch strategy. So, for example, you know, you push in from the library, you push in from the master bedroom, and then you pinch from there. But it just seemed like the bottom 2 floors, they were just pretty much doing whatever they wanted. I mean, Doc roaming that freely around the map, healing teammates.
Yeah, for that long?
That was really like,
and there was still a Valkyrie upstairs.
Yeah, it was. They just did not have a lot of coordination in terms of. I mean, all they had to do was start taking out roamers one at a time, right? They were too focused on playing too many different angles on too many different sides without an actual coordinated push, without the drones actually being set up to do something, some kind of action. That's the big mistake of droning, is if you're not droning to be able to actually do something with that information, to be able to actually turn that into a pinch, your information's worthless because Cyber's just like, all right, I'm just going to go somewhere else then. Not a big deal. Like, this is my map now.
Below. Nobody's going to get touch me anyways. It's fine.
Yeah, BRK just playing very strong. GCR, though, at least did a good job, you know, with his YeaH plays before. But not enough for his team, who's just not killing here. Again, with a very, very roam-heavy setup in terms of the defenders. The Ella just not pulling the weight that we had seen previously before the nerf. So Revolts maybe choosing what might not be the greatest defensive operator for this, as obviously you saw GCR getting a lot more mileage out of his gun, just because it has a lot more effective range, despite not having the ACOG. Guma's going to come out here, though, at least to try and stall out a little bit. And we'll see if Spawns can live through this and be the vigil that they need to take a round.
Well, he's the vigil that they want, but as you said, maybe.
He's a vigilante at this point.
The vigilante. Oh god.
To continue the Batman
that's gonna be a soon to be skin, maybe.
He's upping the vigilante. All right.
With that face mask.
That's what happens when there's nothing happening.
With that face mask, I can see a Batman crossover.
Yeah, where is the Batman mask skin?
Where is she?
Either way, Jackal, an interesting, so I want to bring that up as well. We didn't see Jackal before, and I wanted to call that out. They are bringing Jackal this time, but he's hanging out in an angle where he's not going to be effective. He needs to get into office to start tracking some footprints, because a Jackal working K9 is not going to be doing a lot for the team. I mean, what are you going to do with, like, smokes up there? Like,
I mean, you could have one just up there. You don't have to challenge it.
Yeah,
you can use your Twitch drone and then have one up there, because the F2 can still fight.
If he was in Buck's place right here, he'd be doing a lot more with the information. If he was in PX's place, he'd be doing a lot more information because he'd be seeing footprints.
And you wouldn't be losing time. And
yeah,
it's just these tiny things. 30 seconds if you're bringing a Jackal, he's got 3 charges, and those will tag for quite a bit of time.
Yeah, doing
you can use those to, for example, track FK1, who's running circles around you right now.
Yeah. Either way, though, this is the round that YeaH are looking like they need. At least bring us back a little bit, but Fireplace is definitely covered. There's a Claymore coming up to make sure there's no more late rotates from people like GCR, because they are definitely downstairs. The old Bandit Jaeger roam we used to see in Wine Cellar is back. So they are holding off pretty heavily, though. We're seeing this again coming down to the last minute of a potential 5v5 for the last 30 seconds if trend continues. And there is impacts left, there is Legion mines left. But as I say that, of course, one falls down.
Oh, nice headshot from YeaH with a spray control.
And YeaH's back on Legion as well, just to mention that.
Yeah, Diogo will fall to the floor, not before he opens up most of the floorboards, that's for sure.
Ooh,
and that's a kill though from Cyber. Spawns will go down. That's a Vigil now out of play. YeaH is spotted, he goes in, lands the headshot immediately. And Novi's low on HP here. Cyber trying to pinch in. As GCR comes around from below. They cannot deal with these roamers here. Even when they have a Lion and the Jackal, BRK are not able to deal with it. Revolts can just peek in, but GCR is from the back. Revolt sprays in through the smoke, lands the shot, takes down one, and YeaH's ready, as he already had thrown in a Gooman. From the dead, YeaH arises.
And there it is. I gotta say, I would like to see the Revolts on Ela save a Grismont mine for when they actually go for the plant and kitchen potentially, because trying to just spray yeah, you have 2 or 3 magazines worth of bullets. That's great, but it's effective to also be able to throw that mine in there from, let's say you even had to move back to display cases. He could throw a mine from all the way back there. It doesn't even need to be accurate, because you know primarily where they're going to be planting. They're almost always going to be planting on near the counter, somewhere near that dining door, and you can just hit it anywhere near there with the effective range of that and stop the plant in its tracks. But either way, they were still very effective in that round. That's the first round for YeaH, so good adaptations again. You know why they won that? They put YeaH back on Legion. That's what they needed. Either way, though, Spawns, unfortunately, was not the super effective Vigil we wanted. However, it is potential to credit him for how long it took them to take the site, because the Vigil is not always about getting kills. He's about doing so much delay work on their drones because they cannot track him down. So sometimes it's hard to tell that watching from the spectator views, but he might have been very effective on that. Now, will they let Cyber run circles around them on that dock again is the big question here. We'll see. It's definitely going to be fun to watch, I imagine. One's going to be on that mute jammer, so instead of a Vigil, they're going to use a mute to try and deny. Ooh, a little bit of sneaky camera play there. So many trees to place cameras on this map makes it difficult. We aren't seeing any IQ play.
Yes, exactly. A lot of teams have been bringing IQ on a map like Consulate, where you do have those trees to worry about as well, and anything really that you can set up. A lot of Valk camps. And Chalet is definitely one of the maps where Valkyrie cameras...
Well, especially when you have someone like Cyber to be more than willing to do peek outs if you call them properly, and just barely missing ahead there.
I think he spotted there at the last second. Oh, here we go. Sprays in, but the spray won't connect. There's only a bit of damage done to FK1. This is the problem in the MP5, of course. If you don't land a headshot, then you're basically doing peanuts worth of damage.
Yeah. And unfortunately, peanuts are not what are going to win this unless you're fighting
They're pretty
elephants.
good, but... Oh, boy.
Speaking of elephants, I guess that puts Cyber in that category. As he's just going to... He just does whatever he wants with this.
Oh, comes in and lands the headshot!
Cyber,
Revolts going down!
All the damage not even going to matter, because he's like, it's fine, I've got this juice here.
Yeah,
I'm just going to drink up. There's a nice kill into FK1, but Spawns does trade it back, and that is only one defender lost here. Look like BRK with another strong round. Yeah.
That is a couple of very big kills.
Some grenades off the board, essentially.
Grenades and both explosives, plus 4 concussions that you could have definitely used here. And now the attackers have to huddle in, and they can't separate too much.
I spent so much time talking about how defenders have such a struggle on this map, and then of course they're just going to be like, nah, we'll just
run with a duck.
Yeah, we're just Caster's curse.
At this point, it turns from a curse to like actual full-on entertainment.
LATAM does the opposite of a lot of other regions too. Just like you say, oh, Clubhouse is super attacker heavy, and then we see all these defensive wins. So obviously they're in a different region, a different world here. But a little bit of desperate plays. Still a minute left though. They have enough time to make this work, but you see Thatcher just trying everything he can to soften things up, GCR trying to play the K9 spots here to try and find someone, but they're not giving it up. They know about these spots. It's not.
Oh.
And they're punishing them.
They would have loved to have a Thermite here, and unfortunately they do not. Spawns has control of the top balcony, and he will land a headshot, at least take down one here. And that is the Mute. Now Cyber, PX, and Diego are alive for BRK, and they have 30 seconds left here for the end of the round. Now, because we've seen a Kairos, only Haban. It's going to be a lot more complicated to deal with, and that's the fuser on the floor. That is a huge pick here, especially from Diogo.
Fireplace has been a nightmare for them so far.
Oh my god, they're going to have to go through so much utility.
Right
the C4 is right next here, but can he spray? No, he cannot. Suppose he'll have to spray through the wall, but it's Cyber yet again that lands the 3K at the end of the round. And seems like Doc, well, he's back in play, so round him up.
Yeah, not looking great for YeaH. BRK definitely with the stronger roam, I would say, overall.
And who would have thought that Doc roaming is just working fine? This is...
I don't know.
How do you dissect this? No pun intended.
Yeah, I was going to say... I mean, I guess it's just what the doctor ordered. Sorry,
just what the doctor ordered. Yes.
Mute myself now. Oh, he just couldn't stick the Vigil. Gonna go with Bandit instead. Still a good roam potential as well, though, from that, as the Vigil's not been super effective. They are gonna be going with the Twitch here from 1 this time. Diogo gonna be on the Buck. Surprising to not put Cyber on the Buck. I mean, maybe it's just a map-specific thing, but we saw he was actually a fairly good Buck, and you had Diogo on the line before. So the switching of roles here, a little confusing. Maybe it's just not working for this map for them, but we saw overall the other way around was a little more effective on Clubhouse. So, ooh, Twitch, he's already down that much health.
Are we back to the 30 charge Twitch drone?
Terrorist here, just making this life a nightmare for Revolts. Could also get some batteries here. Maybe that would be a little more effective than just torturing Revolts, but nonetheless, that's going to tilt it.
This is very interesting, though. Leaving the sidewall open, even if you have a mirror window. Remember, there's one on the Twitch, and that can definitely
It's something we've seen teams do when they...
The harassment!
Wow, that's why you had to take it down to 5 shots each, right? Because it's just... that level of harassment.
I mean, yeah, that's what we were talking about before. Like, oh, why would they change it? Well, look at Twitch. Most of the time, they'll only use that shock drone to shock a smoke and just, annoy him down to like 60 HP. It's not fun.
He's still got 1 Twitch drone left, too. Well, either way, as you were saying about that wall being opened in their wine closet, we see some teams do that when they want to play a little more aggressively. Sometimes it's with the smoke there, with the shotgun, to be able to play very close. Because when you have the mirror right there and your ability to kind of tell when they're going to push from either side, you can counter fairly effectively in terms of just quickly rotating to your right with a nice strafe and just shooting right away, just pre-firing it because they have nowhere else.
Go, here we go.
It starts with one already doing a good job with his Twitch drone and then following that up with the FAMAS.
He's done so much damage right now.
Yeah.
That's a total of what? 40 damage plus the 100. That's 140 damage early on. Spawns, though, will be able to refrag here and put Diogo out of his misery.
That's the roaming smoke.
There is the smoke and the Jaeger roaming all the way up top in the bedroom, and this is not something that we usually see. Yeah. It's similar to like playing Oregon, defending in laundry, and then having 2 players that are just playing upstairs in the bedrooms. Well, here's Cyber. Does not really spot anybody moving around. This is where you would love to have a Dokkaebi or a Jackal to at least get some information.
Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have any kind of C4 to throw up or something.
It's right next to the side. No.
If only you switch places with Buck, then you would have been a Buck right there, Cyber. Either way, though, he's still alive. That's what matters.
Oh, Spawns is so low on health here.
Yeah.
Get the information, though.
Oh, he's denying, though. It is down 2 minutes already.
Oh, the axe will get taken down by Spawns. They're playing this so well. They've been delaying it so nicely here.
Finally finished him off, though.
And that's only 1 now taken out. It's 3v3. And you still have to deal with GCR. 1 is trying to rotate all the way around, and Cyber trying to find a close-up angle into the bedroom as he's all the way in the back. Now, I don't think they have a drone to come in and get some info off it, and finally, the camera will get shot down. It lost them a player. And here we go, another spray. GCR gets the kill. And that's another one. A drop one is out on the floor.
Does he even need teammates?
How is this happening? How is a roam in bedroom actually working? PX will get the kill, but remember, the walls have already been banded and there's 10 seconds on the clock. PX will have to run in and hope for a Hail Mary. He's trying to spray in, but no, Revolts is ready for him, cleans him up. YeaH Gaming pick up their second round here. What was that? Did we actually just see a defense in wine with 2 roamers,
Just
a smoke,
them.
and a Jaeger set up in master bedroom, and what?
GCR is the thing holding together right now. I mean, the rest of the people are doing things. Don't get me wrong. They're not just laying around on their phones doing nothing. But just the amount of chaos he's creating is the only thing really helping those roams just be super, super effective.
Cyber yet again on the dock.
Ain't broke.
What is this? Year 1, Season 2 meta?
It's just, hey, even if it fails this time, it still doesn't matter because of how effective it was the last 2 times. But either way, like, BRK only a point ahead because at least some of what YeaH is doing is working. But this just seems like the exact opposite of what you'd expect for Chalet. It's just roamers, 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 and completely uncoordinated attack strats failing to pitch anyone out.
This is what YeaH are going to bring out as a reaction. They're going to pull up Yuna on the Dokkaebi.
Well, that makes sense. Can you bring that out with the Lion?
Deal with the roamers.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a good response to that. Assuming you actually coordinate your pushes, and that's not what we've been seeing from the attackers. So it may still be completely worthless if they don't do anything with it. So it's going to depend on Yuna and Spawns to play that to a T along with some pushes. But Cyber is like, if I let you get near the building.
Not if I have to say anything about that.
Yeah, he just loves fresh air. They are doing the old pulse in the kitchen trick here to try and see. That's a good spot to be able to throw out C4 potentially. They just do not want to give up this bedroom from either team. GCR last time. There's the drone thrown up. Fortunately, does not catch him. That was a close one, though. FK1 at least playing it smarter and safer. But Cyber gets away unscathed. Not that it would matter because he could just re-heal. That's why you see the spawn peaks, though, from Doc. But Cyber being taken down. Spawns finally get some revenge here. So that is good. Now they just need to pinch Diogo, and they could actually make this attack work. They still got to worry about C4 from below from PX, though. Not to mention Valkyrie's got C4 as well, but she's upstairs. So we'll see how that plays out.
They'll open up the hatch, and they'll force PX into the main hall and possibly into dining.
It was a good early open there, making sure you got, once you got control of the master bedroom, you needed to get that open ASAP because now PX is forced to play dining, which means he now cannot C4 in the master bedroom. He can only C4 into the hallway and dining for the most part. Or I mean, I'm sorry, the office, which they're not even necessarily concerned about office just yet. And the Buck still alive is definitely going to help this.
Now they will try to rely a bit more on the Jaeger and the Valkyrie, holding off their angles as well. One is maybe watching out for somebody peeking through any drone that's going to be thrown in through the hole. That's a very common position. You'll get shot from there at times, and you're like, how did I die? Well, there's a hole in there.
Yeah. Good grenade play from FK1.
Oh, there you go. No damage done.
Still clears the barbed wire, though, which is going to be the main utility out of that to an extent.
GCR back up in K9 as PX still holding up and dining. Novi's as well to help him out. Just watching that hallway. Not going to find anybody just yet as Diogo's been up. And BRK have been relying on that Doc plus the Valkyrie to hold the top
Valkyrie
side.
still being alive, though, is a big play here. Unless they catch him out on that Dokkaebi call, they could still absolutely make this work because rarely can you plant from Trophy. They've got to push into dining, and that's where Diogo's going to be able to kill them because they're not going to.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? The pulse spray here from BX will get one, and that's 2 more. The smoke and the MPX going the way.
Oh,
BRK Esports FK1 going down. Yuna, last man alive. He drops 1. The phones are on the floor, but there's no one to call here. Is all on his own. No support, and both angles are held by BRK. They're ready for him here to peek, and what BRK are doing is very smart. Don't overexpose yourself until you know that you have the advantage. Yuna on 25% HP, turns around from the back, nails the headshot, takes down Novi's. Needs to go for the plant. 8 seconds on the clock. Diogo knows this, and both players are on equal footing in HP. C4, though, is in the hands, and even Boss G in the hands of Yuna. playing maybe too much, make those YouTube videos, and he'll make the call. That's going to be important here. How does he react to this? He sprays him, but he goes down. Diogo clutches it with barely any HP. And he'll be able to win out the round and put BRK up 4-2. What a round. From the jump through the hatch. Well, let's start off with Doc. Spawn peek. Doesn't work. Does a bit of damage to the Buck. Doesn't work. Pulls back for some reason. Comes back again. Gets shot. Dies. Advantage for YeaH Gaming. They still have the MPX. They still can play the Valkyrie holding up in library.
What did I say? You leave her alive?
Should have worked.
You left Diogo alive. That, I said, is the one thing that's going to cost you, and it absolutely did, because they were not able to fight all the roamers on site, and they had to worry about... I mean, it did give enough time for the plant, though, at least. Like, there was that. He was able to get the plant down, and that was really important. But just not able to be able to stick. I mean, they were, like you said, they were both on equal footing, and that last phone call was definitely helpful.
Oh,
but at that range, like...
You have an SMG-12. Wait, you can hear the call.
The problem is, though, that's not going to tell you whether he's in the kitchen or the hallway, because the distance is relatively equal. And so that phone call is great for distracting him, but it's not necessarily going to give you the instant kill. However, if it got to the T part of the trophy and he's coming around either side of the trophy from, you know, just kind of the other wall,
where he's coming.
that's where it would have factored in.
And he was standing in the middle. He should have had the advantage there of just, you know what, I shouldn't peek this.
Yeah.
I should just stick back and...
He should have played time better and waited for the sound of the phone call. He was just hoping to get an early pick, and it just worked against him. Now we're going to have FK1 on the Vigil. I think it was Spawns last time on the Vigil. So
oh, no.
That's unfortunate.
Don't shoot your teammates, Spawns. That easy.
Look, not everyone knows that rule, okay?
Don't be too harsh on the players, casters.
Yeah. I don't see you guys doing it. There. Oh, the frost. We didn't even notice that. The frost being brought out here should make things interesting. I like it just right in the debris there.
That'll be 2 frosts now being picked.
Well,
so far in Pro League.
That is a great way to punish trophy window, of course. Now they are going to look upside down.
And
they might have caught that there was a frost, and that's the way you check for a frost map there. So nicely done by Navi's. Now hopefully he's going to do a little more effective use of his footprint tracking this time. He looks like he's entering potentially from the master bedroom, so now he's not going to be stuck over on K9. This is better. Put Cyber over on K9 where he can watch and hopefully play a little more effective role. A little too early of a lion, but still he's going to be able to get this camera out and watch K9 and now have footprints tracked on the other side. This is better play overall. And they're on match point too, so this is the good time to be making that switch. So as long as Revolt doesn't get some good success out of these welcome mats here, then it'll work out. See, Revolt still has 1 left to place, and then Goo Mines as well. Trap meta, of course, coming out.
All of these metas, all coming
so
together.
many metas. The meta going to be next season, of course.
Yuna,
2
it's on
Goo
the
Mines.
legion. He hasn't been able to find anybody just yet, and of course, as you said, 2 Goo Mines. Should usually think about throwing them somewhere. There we go. That's exactly what he's going to do, exposing himself for just a second. He's got 2 impact nades to play with if need be, but already the kill.
You know what? This is already a 5-2. GCR is dead. GG. Sorry.
This is very much in the hands of BRK, and there we go. They lose the second one. That's a frost.
Hopefully place that last map first, but probably not. Vigil there, going to be a big player potentially. FK1 needs to be the savior here.
Low on HP. The smoke comes into the kitchen, doesn't find anybody lurking outside of the main window. Now Yuna sets up his last remaining Goo Mines. Smoke is going to get thrown out here as the 50-second mark. See, FK1 will get spotted. Definitely not something you'd like to see or hear if you are a Vigil, though. Let's see, 1 more kill for Novice. The second one as well on the Jackal. And you know what? Yuna gets the kill. It's something. From the dead, he'll come back, but FK1, he is at death's door.
Jackal
Panic is definitely the highest level. Novice is ready for him, lands the headshot, cleans him up, and you know what? BRK, as you say, bring it back and bring it home after 5-1 on map 2, and now 5-2 on map 3 Chalet, and that's a total of how many rounds have gone for them? 15 rounds going the way of BRK, and 9 rounds in total for YeaH Gaming for our 3 maps here. Novice with a 9.
Maybe when it's a best of 1, it's close, but when it's a best of 3, definitely swinging towards BRK side.
Easy.
Well played by BRK. Now, obviously, saw that with 9. Even down that last minute there, had that Vigil been able to play a little bit of, effective, they still could have got a